they just did this example, and he's like, look, I'm in a car and I'm traveling 65 miles per hour because they're saying everything's relative. That's why we don't feel the movement. So he takes the water bottle and he pours it into this cup and he pours for like a second. And he goes, see, the water's not splashing in my face or anything like that. You can't even. And he says, that's why when you're in a car, it's because of relativity. You can't. It doesn't feel like you're moving. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Of course, it feels like you're moving. It absolutely feels like you're moving. It might not feel like you're like it's not drastic while you're going at constant speed. You can still feel that movement going the constancy.
Down and not towards you, though. That's, I think, was he was trying to demonstrate.
Is that what it was, Angela? Oh, thank you. I had no idea. Good thing you're here. So silly. The point being, when he pours the water, he only shows you a second. Because if he had a steady stream going, you would see the water waving. You would see it moving. Any slight increase or decrease in speed or even, slight movement, you feel all of it. Whenever they do that car going down the highway thing, it's always such a joke. It's such a joke. Yeah, of course the water's not splat, but you're saying that the reason we don't feel any movement whatsoever, they just got done saying that the galaxy is or the solar system is revolving around the center of the galaxy at 490,000 miles, not 500,000, not 475, 490,000 miles per hour. And you don't feel it because it's all relative. It's because we're basically like in a car traveling down the freeway. That's the kind of shit that they tell you. And lots of people will believe that shit. Lots of people. It's fucking dumb. It's dumb. And I just don't, I think so much of what we're convinced of and supposed to believe is in fact dumb, which makes it like it's almost like it's like it protects itself. By it being dumb, not just, that's a little off, but it's flat out stupid. If you go and say, that's stupid, why would you, people go, don't call me stupid. No, that is stupid. Yes, you believing in it is stupid, but nobody's saying you're stupid. What's up, bro? I love how they say, the rivers. The rivers just come from melting streams and rainwater. Melting snow and rainwater. It just feels that you have raging waterfalls and shit. Lake Louise. Philippe Cousteau. What do you think? Philippe did work really hard to get where he was? Or was he like, hey, you know who my great grand was?
It was just his grandpa, wasn't it?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't know when Jacques Cousteau was a.
Yeah, Jacques was his grandpa, I think.
Whatever.
Jacques was awesome. Not like this dweeb.
I think you're just mistaken. I think you haven't seen Jacques Cousteau in 20 plus, 30 plus fucking years, and you have the perception that a little girl had seeing this guy on TV that everybody said was the man, and that your family probably was like, oh, he's awesome, and it's one of these really frustrating things, and I don't know, like, I assume it's actually, it's not, my wife isn't the only one that has this. I assume everybody sort of has this thing where, you I don't remember what I was going to say. I forgot my point.
Making fun of my nostalgia.
The nostalgia, the idea that oh yeah, that separation, that thing where you think you remember something properly.
I didn't die till I was in
You
my
know,
20s.
you think that you remember situations between family members, parents, arguments, fights between, and you were, in your 10, in your aughts, in your whatever, and you think, no, 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 it happened like this. This is what happened. Oh no, no, this is the thing. But you're just arrogant. The child that saw the thing was a child. And the adult that remembers it is remembering it as an adult and putting things into place that need to be there. Memory is a really funny thing like that. But the chances are, like, like especially like if you have like there's like family issues, right? Family tensions between this person and that person or whatever. And you're like, no, 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 I was there. I saw it. Like, you don't know shit. You might have seen one or two incidents, but you don't know what happened behind the scenes, and you were a child. That's why they get you with all of this fantasy shit when you're a child. Because you're so much more likely to just accept it. You're likely to accept it. You're likely to not ask difficult questions, not point out the contradictions, none of it. He goes, yeah, yeah, okay, no, I believe submarines are real, right? You believe submarines are real. And I love when people are dumb and say that because it's like, okay, so you've been watching for quite some time now. And yet you still aren't going to be able to come up with any sort of anything. Like, you're not going to make an argument for why submarines are real. You're just going to say they are. You're it's because of that same mentality. Like, think about it. The most evidence that you've seen for submarines happened when you were a kid. And you saw movies and TV shows and cartoons and shit that showed you submarines. As an adult, you haven't seen shit. You have not seen a fucking anything to prove that submarines are real. I mean, you've seen some docked at a place and maybe you were allowed to go on a tour or something. But you have no idea. None of you have ever been on a submarine that was 200 fucking meters below the surface and had been there for a week. I love how, is this your new thing? Let's see. Stay away from children. Joined 1 year ago, has no subscribers. The Copperhead joined 12 years ago, has 3 subscribers. Right. I believe these people to be real people who really have a lot going on. They're coming after the guy who every single day says we should kill pedophiles and overthrow the Friar mentality, the Friar control scheme. And yet you're going to come troll me? Yeah, that makes so much sense. Yeah. You're probably not some Israeli pedo. You're probably the real thing. It's always just so fucking stupid. All of it. It's just so stupid. I was going to look into it the other day. I think Hillary Clinton was replaced. Again. Do you guys see the newest video of Hillary doing that thing where she's being asked questions about why Ghislaine Maxwell was invited to her daughter's wedding long after she had already been sort of exposed? And she was like, oh, well, she was a +1 for somebody else. Okay, bye, thank you. Have a great day. And walked out. Ghislaine had an aisle seat. Don't the aisle seats at the wedding, aren't those usually for like, people that are more likely to give a shit, not just some +1 at a wedding? Why would you need to be in the aisle seat over anybody else who's like, But to think like she she says that and then she runs away. She doesn't engage it. But I have to say, the Hillary Clinton that said that was the hottest Hillary Clinton I've ever seen. And she's supposed to be really old. She's better looking now than she's ever been.
They're in their 80s now, aren't they?
I don't know.
Clintons?
I don't know. But I know that like, I think she was replaced after the plane crash in 2011 or something like that, 2012. She was involved in a plane crash in foreign soil where another dude was said to have died, and she was all fucked up. She had head injuries and all that. She disappeared from public eye for like a month or 2 months. But then there's the thing that like completely sort of goes under the radar, right? Do you guys remember during the Trump play, the theater, the the election theater?
Which one? The shooting? Which one?
Right. Well, the one involving Hillary. When Hillary was outside of whatever it was, she had just gotten done speaking and she collapsed. Do you guys remember that? She was standing there. Yeah, she was standing there. She didn't run the second time. She only ran in 2016 against Trump.
Right.
So she had just given her speech. She's standing out front. The people around her seemingly know something's going to happen because as soon as she falls, wacky conspiracy theorists indeed. Indeed. Oh, take your meds. We have a dumb friar saying take your meds. What are the coincidence or what are the chances that a friar is going to push the auto emancipation, take your meds, your psychosis kind of shit? What a surprise, right? Because Hillary didn't just collapse, right? Hillary collapses and they like throw her in the back of the van. It's really weird. And like all the people around seemingly know what's going on because they close ranks and they all form the circle so nobody with a camera can actually see through. Then Hillary is not taken to a hospital. She's taken to her daughter's house where, a little while later, an hour later, half hour later, someone else comes out pretending to be Hillary. Like an obvious body double. Her nose is like a lot bigger. And of course she doesn't say anything because the voice isn't correct. But that was, for all we know, that was the last time we saw that replacement function. And then drive her to private apartment. Yeah, it's really a weird scenario. Let's see if we can find footage of it. You don't want everyone to hear it? Hillary. I said something to my mailman, my female man, the other day. I said, hey, she came out and she was driving me on a cam. I said, hey, isn't it crazy what's going on? She said, yeah. I said, I've been telling you this stuff for like 3 years, haven't I? Been telling you it's the Jews, blah, 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 right? She was like, yeah. I said, am I wrong about anything? She said, well, no. The next day, she says, right after I left your house, I went on my phone and on my Facebook, and it was all that shit. It wasn't there before, but she said, it was like they're listening to our conversations or something. Hillary Clinton running for president, Home Alone short. That's what pops up. That's pretty interesting. I put collapse. I go start typing collapse. And go figure, nothing populates. Here you go. Hillary Clinton appears to collapse. Look at it. She's falling out. She falls out. Everybody close ranks, and they shove her in the back. Well, that was quick.
This might come as a surprise to many of you. I didn't prepare a speech.
Let's see.
I'm Hillary Clinton, and I approve this message.
It's a good thing there happened to be some guy standing here filming this shit, huh? Because we never know. Look at how she falls out. there. They pick her up, shove her in the car real quick. Everybody's closed ranks. Held up right now. She can't even hold herself up. The thing is falling. Whatever it is falling apart. And then it falls out right there. And they just like scoop her up and push her in and the internet is finally hitting her with frazzle drip. Yeah, I'm good. This is gonna be the same thing over here. Deposition gets heated between Nancy May and Hillary Clinton. Ooh. What kind of bullshit is this?
You asked the question. I'm going to answer your question. Now you're going to.
Since when do people? Since when are people allowed to be this disrespectful to Congress?
And I was taking care of the people who lost 3,000 lives. And now. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, thank you for returning this afternoon.
Madam Secretary.
Has been someone the committee should investigate. My husband will be here tomorrow. You'll have a chance to ask him questions. So my question is your husband this committee, is someone this committee should investigate?
I'm going to answer.
Apparently you are. You subpoenaed him. He's going to be here tomorrow. In your testimony before the break, you discussed why you believe President...
It's insane how these innocent people keep responding to these questions. None of them seem to respond like a normal person would be. Is your husband somebody that the team should be investigating? Well, he's going to be here tomorrow. Why don't you say no? Why doesn't she say no, but you're going to do it anyway? You see what I mean? Just little shit like that. Like, aren't you a politician? Shouldn't you know how to answer these better?
Trump should testify before a committee due to a, quote, pattern of behavior, end quote. You testified that a pattern of behavior warrants...
Wonder what her real hair color looks like. Because you know she's not blonde.
The pattern of behavior you described...
I wonder what she really looks like. Like, she has on so much makeup. So much makeup, fake hair, fake everything. What do you think this thing really looks like?
Deviant behavior, correct? Yes. In 1998, your husband was found civilly liable for sexual misconduct with Paula Jones and settled for $850,000. Is that correct? Yes. By your standard pattern of behavior, should your husband testify before this committee? He is testifying tomorrow. On December 19th,
okay, but should he is the question, you dumb cunt.
An obstruction of justice was directly related to his extramarital affair with Monica Lewinsky. Is that correct? Yes. And your husband was impeached for perjury related to sexual behavior, correct? I didn't understand what you said. Your husband was impeached for perjury related to sexual behavior, his sexual behavior. He was impeached for several.
You know, again, something that nobody seems to be talking about, but Monica Lewinsky is Israeli. The Lewinskys were Jews, but not just Jews, connected Jews. That's why she was there to begin with. And of course, her entire narrative is going to be manufactured. Don't you get that? Like, when you start looking into these people, you don't think they've created fucking backgrounds for them? You don't think that there's an entire fucking narrative that's been carefully crafted and you know, all the angles figured out and all that shit? I mean, how come there's not hundreds and thousands of pictures of these people young? I mean, when it comes to Bill Clinton, there happens to be a picture of him shaking Kennedy's hand with a double-handed Mason handshake. How come there's no pictures of Hillary Clinton pregnant? You know, this chick's a lesbian. And I don't think she's bi. I think she's a lesbian. That's why she agreed to do it. You know, they needed somebody to play Bill Clinton's wife because we won't let somebody be president that's single. So they had to give Bill Clinton a wife. But everybody knew he was a fucking hornball. I mean, like, think about it. Do you understand that Bill Clinton probably has, like, herpes and warts and and he's had gonorrhea. Like with the amount of women this dude was just fucking everybody. You know, all of these guys have all that shit. If what's his name? Microsoft, Bill Gates ended up with some sort of syphilis or whatever it was, gonorrhea, that he needed medication from. They were all fucking the same broads or children. They all have the same shit. It looks like Mitch McConnell in drag. No, but that's funny. No, is Mitch McConnell even a thing anymore? Do we even hear about Mitch McConnell or see Mitch McConnell? Because we see Lindsey Graham all the time. But Mitch McConnell has disappeared. That dude hasn't been operating properly for years. For years.
Several reasons.
Acquitted in the Senate. And he was acquitted in the Senate. Can you imagine, like, again, listen to how these people speak. Do they sound like the best of the best? The highest of professionals? You know, do they sound like they're super intelligent and they know what they're talking about? How come I can do a whole bunch of shit without ever being like,
And your husband flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane 17 to 26 times, correct?
He made several trips with different legs on the trip, as I recall.
But he flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane.
Right, just answer the fucking question.
Were you aware that
Disgusting
Secret Service was
bitch.
dropped on some of those flights?
That is not my understanding.
Where they were not on some of those flights?
That is not my
So
understanding.
your understanding is that Secret Service was on all of the flights that President Clinton was on?
That is
with
my
Epstein?
understanding.
By this standard of behavior, multiple credible accusers, including Juanita Broderick, who alleged rape against your husband was disbarred in Arkansas, lost his law license before the Supreme Court, flew on Epstein's plane dozens of times, visited Epstein's island.
That is not true. That is absolutely untrue.
Well, there's documentation in the DOJ files. I'm not sure you're aware, your attorneys have told you, but Jeffrey Epstein was one of the victims to lie to investigators, to lie that Bill Clinton was ever on Epstein Island. I can provide that document to you.
We would like that document, please.
Yeah, counsel, because actually the files say just the Epstein himself tonight.
These are FBI notes from an interview with a victim, and I can get you the victim number and the case number and the files. These are notes from a 302
If
interview.
you'd like those, are you going to provide those now?
That's not my line of questioning. She brought it up, but I have a
I'm
document.
sorry, you're making a representation as to the fact.
I didn't enter anything as an exhibit.
But it's factually inaccurate.
No, I can give it to you later. I can go find the document, make copies, give it to you this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Okay. By your standard or pattern of behavior, your husband appears in photos in swimming pool tubs aboard Jeffrey Epstein's private plane with unidentified young women. We came here today and you told this committee that a pattern of behavior demands accountability, correct?
I said that I believe the committee should call anyone who had a substantial pattern and practice of contact with Jeffrey Epstein and his crimes before they came to light.
Does that include your husband?
And after they came to light. You're going to have a chance to question him tomorrow.
So I'll ask you again, by the standard you just set, in your own words just now, does this standard apply equally to your husband or only President Trump?
I have said that my husband.
Why won't you just answer the question?
He will appear. He will answer your questions to the best of his ability, but there is no evidence whatsoever of any connection with Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, and I think that will be obviously apparent in the questioning.
What makes you so sure of that he's photographed?
Objection, to speculate on something that's not.
Yeah,
What do you
it
mean?
is so
What?
speculative.
She's asking you a question. You just
swimming
said
in a
something.
pool, sitting in a hot tub. There are millions of people who do that without any improper behavior or certainly committing any crimes. So I think
Most of the men are like your husband that did anything wrong by where they're being surrounded by young women, giving them massages on Jeffrey's private estate or private plane. Are they all innocent then?
you know, you are making assumptions in your questions that have not been proven and I don't believe are provable.
For 250 years.
Well, yeah, a lot of it isn't provable because it's not like there were video cameras there.
You know, you are making assumptions in your
But what
questions
does
that have
that-
not been proven, and I don't believe are provable.
She's so stupid.
Okay, why did you wait 6 months to have this hearing today or have this testimony?
You know, I've answered that. I thought that given the way that other witnesses who were subpoenaed at the same time were being treated,
Oh.
there was an unfair
Oh.
treatment of both my husband and myself.
Oh.
And I thought that, especially from my perspective, I had very little, if any, information to provide you, and that I could have done it in a sworn statement, and you could have moved on to know somebody else who might have more information that would be beneficial to your
I have two more questions, and we're gonna pass it to Congresswoman Luna. After Jeffrey Epstein was convicted, did it concern you at all that you had taken a substantial amount of money from?
That's an inappropriate assumption. I didn't
Why is that
take a amount of
inappropriate?
money from Jeffrey Epstein. So far as I know, Jeffrey Epstein contributed to the joint committee that was supporting my Senate race.
That's how much?
I believe I was told $20,000.
You don't consider $20,000 substantial?
I do not consider it relevant to me because I have no recollection that I ever.
She doesn't consider 20 grand substantial.
They gave $20,000 to your campaign.
My understanding of the rules back then is that there was no coordination between the committee and the campaign. So, no, I have no recollection.
But that doesn't mean you can't speak to your donors. That doesn't prohibit, the law does not prohibit you speaking to
But
donors.
I didn't know he was a donor. As far as I knew, he was not a donor until I learned this in
Did it
preparation
concern
for
you
the
at all that
testimony.
Maxwell was heavily involved with people you knew and were close to?
I knew people that I knew her. Yes, that's true.
And you just shrugged, you didn't want to look into it or
Nobody,
question about it?
until her crimes were revealed and she was indicted and tried and convicted.
How? How did nobody know?
People knew
How?
very much about at all
And
what
then
she
how do
was
you
doing.
know Howard Lutnick?
I know Howard Lutnick because when I was
Howard
senator,
Lutnick is a monster.
on 9/11, the firm he headed, Cantor Fitzgerald, suffered the greatest loss of life. As I recall,
But not him.
650 of his employees were murdered by terrorists that day.
Oh, here we go.
Howard Lutnick
She's grandstanding.
being a victim because he was delayed dropping
I know
his
that.
child
I asked
off
him.
to
Yeah.
kindergarten. You
Yep.
asked the question.
We all know
I'm
that.
going to answer your question.
Now you're gonna
This was what I spent my time doing.
I'm a
I
survivor
spent
trying to look out for other survivors.
and I was taking care of
waited
the
6
people
months
who
to
lost
get here today.
3,000
6 months,
lives
and now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today.
You asked me.
Now you're talking. She keeps trying to bring up the trades. 3,000 lives were lost at the World Trade Center. 3,000 lives. I know Howard Lutnick because Howard, 3,000 lives at the Trade Center.
Epstein survivors. I'm a survivor myself. You have emails. You denied that Jeffrey Epstein, that you tried to get Jeffrey Epstein to give money to.
I did
but
not.
Howard Lutnick was
If you have an
using money.
email with me asking Jeffrey
I
Epstein
have
for
an
money,
email from Howard Lutnick sending it to Jeffrey Epstein and his people to raise money for
I don't know about
for an event, an intimate event for you at his offices
Well,
at Cantor Fitzgerald. You're going to sit
if
here
you-
today
if you would let me
and
finish.
obfuscate and say to this committee, you didn't try to get money from Jeffrey
I didn't.
Epstein. When
I
there was an
didn't.
intimate event in an email that Howard Lutnick emailed to Epstein's people and Epstein to get him
Look at her
to come to
fucking
your intimate
face.
event at Cantor Fitzgerald, a very small event. And so I'm going to put, you want to yell at
They
me?
keep
That's
handing
fine.
her
I'll
notes.
yell right back,
Well,
okay?
Calm down.
I'm doing the job.
Calm down, stop yelling, you look bad.
Secretary of State. Thank you, and I yield back to
No, I'm going to finish answering the question, which I have a right to do. I am very sympathetic to your personal situation.
I
I've
bet
read
you
about it.
are.
I've seen you testify or speak on the floor about it.
But you didn't talk to Jeff.
I very much sympathize.
You did all this, but you didn't
Not
talk to
what
Jeff.
you went through, but appreciate your effort to stand up for survivors. I was a senator representing the people who were murdered on 9/11.
Oh, God, here we go.
More people than Howard Lutnick. You can say whatever you want. You can call him and have him appear before the committee.
He won't.
I knew him.
He won't.
I knew him as the man who lost the employees that he knew intimately, including his brother.
What does that have to do with anything?
Let her finish her answer,
money for
please.
you.
Let her finish her
You
answer.
know what?
Now she's going to back out.
If you don't want to hear what emotionally affected me, that's fine.
I don't.
But that's why I know Howard Lutnick. I went to the memorial service every 9/11 after the formal service was held. I see what you're doing.
How many memorial services do you think she went to? Did she just go to Howard Lutnick's bullshit, or did she go to other people's as well? How many people lost someone in 9/11 and Hillary Clinton showed up? Oh, that's about 2,000 years ago.
With all of his people, the family.
You and Jeffrey Epstein raising money.
Well, Howard Lutnick and I did work together because we had a lot of victims.
The victims. We were taking care of the victims, I swear. I swear.
That started history's greatest wave of wealth.
What a piece of shit, man. 4 hours of disposition. 4 hours. I was going to watch it, but I didn't realize it was 4 hours.
That take care of, and we work together to rebuild.
Let's see, were there any top moments from Bill Clinton's testimony? Let's see what the top moments are.
I think you should have called me. I did take those pictures with you. And you ever like to ask those questions?
He looks weird.
So I'm glad to be here, and
You're glad to be there.
I understand what the oath is. I have to be honest with you. I'm 80 years old. If I live to the next birthday, I don't remember everything that happened to me.
If I live to next month.
I remember some things.
That's a weird thing for him to say.
What I remember as best I can.
She's been described on being on a 2002 Africa trip and providing massages. Was she or any other young female on that trip underage at that time?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did you ever receive a massage or have physical contact from her or anyone else on that trip?
No, of course not.
You've seen the pictures. There was one time when I was sitting.
So, what an answer, right? He pauses. Like, again, weren't you prepped for this? Thanks, Bob. Weren't they prepped? They just go in there and be like, nah, it'll be fine. They're not going to ask anything I can't handle. Don't worry about it. Like, this is so strange. He got a back rub and a neck rub.
Okay.
Look at his watch, smart watch.
I wish Shante had told me I liked her. But I didn't think it was anything unusual. I can't tell you how many airplanes I've been on. Rich people asked me to go, and they had someone off the massage.
They had massages? So everywhere you go, rich people have younger looking females offering to give people massages? I've never been to a massage party before. You ever been to a party like that?
No.
Seriously, I haven't been to shit tons of things. Angela, at some point in her life, was a hot chick and pretty popular and all that stuff. She was younger and, she went to all kinds of shit. She went to conventions. She went to premieres and things like that. She was a hot chick. You're saying that all the parties you ever went to, there were never any younger looking girls there just waiting to give people massages?
No.
Huh. Maybe you just didn't go to rich enough parties.
I was only at the mid-rich and lower.
Oh yeah, see, you're trash. Trash!
I wasn't in.
Trash! Goyim trash.
I mean, I guess maybe some of the parts and stuff.
I was gonna say that.
But they're still, in the scheme of things, they're probably the bottom 5% rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
Algo says he's sending comments and they're not coming through. Find the video where she asked about Frazzle Drip and she smiles and Duper's delight and automatically puts her hands to her face. Alright, hang on a second. FRAZZLEDRIP. Wow, it doesn't populate anything. Go figure. There we go.
That winning feeling you love? Bring it everywhere you go with the Hollywood Casino app. Your next big thrill is just a tap away.
Past public statements, as in 2017 speeches.
I love this. Again, so now the thing is, these friars, because see, this is what their actions do, right? They're so fucking inbred stupid, and I don't think they actually have Goyim sort of telling them stuff. I think they're just really arrogant right now. So these fake fucking profiles that literally use my name and stuff. These profiles were invented, joined 1 day ago, and has no subscribers. Suddenly, these guys are trying to be like, no, you're the pedo. The guy that always talks about it and tries to, and advocates for the violent, vicious death of pedophiles. No, it's you. Because obviously my work is working, right? If it wasn't working, they wouldn't try to emulate it. Because what I'm doing is affecting them so greatly, so tremendously, they're trying to do it back to me, but it doesn't work. I'm not some weirdo fake profile hiding who I am, pedophiles, all this other shit. It's the same fucking nonsense over and over again. But it shows you that our efforts are not in vain. It's working. It's affecting them pretty tremendously for them to be this desperate. Oh, all those comments got blocked again. Let's see. Hey, what? Oh, your comments are cut off. My comments are cut off. What are you talking about, Audio? Doesn't look like my comments are cut off. I'm still getting their comments. But your comments nope, there you go. Test. I got you. They're just removing lots of the shit you say. No, it's just that. And it's funny because, again, it's so foreign. You don't see this everywhere, so you just think, like, what? You try making excuses, and you try coming up with, like, what the fuck is going on here? It's so crazy, man. Let's see. We're back.
You described Pizzagate as a baseless conspiracy theory, alleging you and others ran a child sex trafficking ring from a Washington pizzeria basement.
That's not what the alleged thing is.
2025, 2026
It's funny how
files
it's been
that were released
pushed.
that you believe reference or relate to those.
Like, stop for a second, but this idea that Pizzagate was that Hillary Clinton and others ran a pedophile organization out of a pizza place is just not true. It's just not fucking true. That's not what people believed. Yes, there was a connection to the pizza place, and the emails are ridiculous. I mean, it's like being on here and all of the people who identify as Jewish, especially the rabbi, the fake rabbi profiles, suddenly start posting pictures of pizza slices and the Israeli flag when we start talking about pedophilia. And then going, but I didn't like pizza. No, it's nothing weird. I just like pizza. Don't you normally just post pictures of pizza slices for no fucking reason? Why isn't it able to do? Oh, this shit's so goofy. Oh, yeah?
They have a set of, we call them lines. It's a specific set of patterns, and we'll apply down the center of each one of those lines.
Oh, so all those times when you think it's just chemtrails, no, it's just those planes doing it.
And we'll cover a 65-mile section using a back and forth pattern.
Back and forth. Back and forth. I don't like back and forth.
I'm sorry, does this that you believe reference or relate to those specific 2016 claims regarding the Podesta emails, Comet Ping Pong Pizza used as code possibly? I'm sorry, does
You're
this
asking
relate?
her about whether she's reviewed emails in the
the
Epstein files, which relate to the wacky Pizzagate.
Wacky.
You can characterize it however you want. I just would like to know if she's
Wacky.
with any of them.
So excuse me, your question is about whether or not she has reviewed any emails in.
Why would you be smiling at any of this? Who would be getting asked these questions and be smiling? Like, even if they're baseless, why would you be smiling? Wouldn't you be furious?
Correct.
Isn't this a deposition? Right? Isn't this a thing where she's supposed to be asked whatever questions they have? And yet they keep going, why are you asking this question? Why are you asking that question?
Was totally made up. It was an outrageous allegation that ended up hurting a number of people, that caused a deranged young man to show up with his assault rifle and shoot up a local pizzeria.
He did not shoot up a local pizzeria. Apparently, he fired one bullet that went through a door and hit a computer, a hard drive that destroyed a hard drive. That was the only thing that happened. He didn't shoot up shit. And of course, as much as you want to believe this is a good thing, nobody's going to check her on that shit.
I can't believe you're even referencing it. You should be.
There are connections to the language.
Well, the QAnon people believe there are. So
I don't know what QAnon people.
The QAnon, you know, I remember when the Q thing started to happen. And Algo, you fucking fell for it. And I remember saying, don't you think it's weird that nobody knows who these QAnon people are? But they seem to have insider access to everything that makes the Trump situation look better. This QAnon shit, the thing that really sealed the deal for me was when the tunnels underneath Ellen's house, I believe, were discovered in Oprah. The whole Oprah Ellen thing first hit, and it was like there was a lot of shit coming out that was really fucking weird. And the people, you know, the conspiracy people, the Goyim, were really like, it's fucking time to revolt. Like, when this shit first hit, we were much more angry about it. We were ready to revolt, to go get Ellen and go get Oprah. And now, it's a lesbian and it's a black woman, so I guess I understand why. Ouch. But it was a big deal. And QAnon was leading the charge saying, hey, calm down, trust the plan. Trust the plan. Trump is taking care of these things. Trust the plan. It's fucking crazy, right? It's crazy how this works. And you're getting the same, like, Hillary is acting just like fucking Trump. Are we still talking about Pizzagate? Oh my God. I can't even believe you're bringing this up. Why would you bring up a whole big old pedophile ring conspiracy while we're talking about a different pedophile ring conspiracy that's actually connected? Why would you bring that shit up? It's baseless. Baseless.
Have at it.
But you've accused
Have it.
celebrities, and I think even right now today, of promoting slow walking information in ways that fuels conspiracies. In your view,
Is anybody going to ask her about why she destroyed the email, the hard drives with the hammers, the phones with the hammers?
2019 contribute to or intersect with the spread of Pizzagate style theories about Democrat figures?
Objection.
I have no way of answering.
And Pizzagate is not about Democrats. Again, like my whole thing with QAnon, they put QAnon out, they let it get as big as it did, so that nowadays they can say shit like, oh, that's just a QAnon conspiracy theory. They created a negative with it. It's how they win the war is by controlling the language. And you're all saying, oh, that's just one of those QAnon conspiracy theories.
In the wilds of Michigan, billboard lawyers hunt their prey.
Before I yield my time, Chairman Comer, do you believe that you were personally a target of an intelligence gathering operation specifically?
Let's see.
Objection.
I have no way of answering. That is the most
speculation.
Ridiculously.
This is what Trump says.
Identified
Like at this point, you go, you know what? I totally understand why civilians distrusted the government. Look at everything that's happening. Look at what's going on. Look what's been going on. Look back to the Franklin story. Look at all of it. And yeah, I totally understand why people might have thought this way or thought that way, but I can unequivocally say that I had nothing to do with any of that. Like, that's how you respond to that. You don't go, oh my God, that is so ridiculous to bring up one pedophile conspiracy story while we're talking about a different one. I mean, seriously, how unprofessional is that? It's just fucking wild. Look at her smiling like a pig. That's the fakest looking smile. Doesn't that look fake as shit to you?
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm not bothered by this at all. This doesn't affect me. What a piece of shit.
File content that has been misinterpreted online to revive those claims, and what steps?
Why wouldn't you be trying to fix that?
To
Right.
clarify.
Again, object on the ground of.
Who the
I think that this is all very reasonable.
Well, first of all, I don't follow the crazy conspiracy stories that are online. I regret that anybody does. I find it
crazy
quite sad, but also
here we go, talking shit.
disturbing that people
Here we go.
would believe some of what is put forth,
yeah.
like Pizzagate.
Right.
So
Right.
I have taken no steps to review any of them that might have any connection to something which I think is totally bogus.
John Podesta, your 2016 campaign chair, appears in some Epstein file contexts. Overlaps or mentions. Were you aware of any of the Podesta-related communications in the released files?
Can you please provide examples or the evidence that you would like us to review? Or
She's proud of it and can't keep the smug look off her face. Right.
I can get some exhibits.
She's proud of doing it, and she's proud of how they've gotten away with
I
it.
will get those, and I will skip that question until we can.
Oh, now we're going to skip that question?
Generally, she is asking if she's aware of specific information that is in the files that you all are relying on. Please provide the witness with copies of that material.
So they don't know all this.
She's welcome to state so.
Welcome to
All
SEC.
countries deserve respect. What the fuck does that even mean? You are a dumbass. All countries deserve respect. Why? Isn't respect something that's earned? Nobody just deserves it. Dumbass.
Information that you're speaking to.
Now she's laughing again.
Really, I expected a lot of interesting questions.
Oh my God.
It was not on my list.
Nobody prepped you that they might bring up Pizzagate stuff? This is why I don't even bother with this shit, because it's all fake. If I was there and I was allowed to ask these questions, I would be calling all of this shit out. Instead, the person asking the questions asks just enough to get this to happen. Oh, hey, look, we're at the same one we see all the time. Magical telescope. Yeah. It's fucking snowing. But none of it, the snow doesn't affect anything, huh? Oh, that's believable. God, it's so dumb. God, it's so dumb.
That's okay. We're asking here.
You certainly are. You certainly are.
You certainly are.
Get the truth out to the American people.
Well, that'd
Get some
be
clarity.
very helpful.
Are you aware of any files that were on Anthony Weiner's laptop in a folder that was
No.
titled "Insurance, Life Insurance," with a zip file titled "Frazzle"?
Hold on, Chairman.
This is
No,
way
I'd like
outside
the
the
chairman's
scope.
ruling.
This
Is
is
this
way
within the
outside the
scope? Is this within the scope, Mr. Chairman?
How is this outside of the scope?
Based on what you said in the public hearing, is this within the scope?
We can go off the record for a moment.
Mr. Chairman, is this within the scope?
Off the record and control.
Is this within the scope? Nobody's like, this is ridiculous. We shouldn't be talking about this because it's been proven wrong. They're just, is this within the scope?
So I don't know how many times you have to say the same thing over and over and over again. And I just am struggling with the relevance of all of this. But no, I never have been.
And
I just, do you know why you're there? Apparently she doesn't understand why she's there. She didn't think anything of this, huh?
Tucker Carlson got fired?
Long time ago.
Something happened in the last 9 hours with Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson's a fucking agent. Tucker Carlson is Ted Gunderson. Huh?
Maybe bombing Iran is a bad idea. He's lost his way. Oh. Trump said smart enough to understand. Just stupid. Bullshit.
Oh, look. We have a pedophile flag flyer. Flying that pedophile flag, aren't you, Casey? Because you are a pedophile and you're proud of it. Right? Joined 3 years ago, has 1 subscriber. We start talking about pedophiles. What does this person do? Start flying the Israeli flag. If that doesn't tell you all you need to know, I don't know what else to show you guys. Right? Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Does that work? Does that work for your apology, bud? When I tell you to go fuck yourself? Because that's about as best you're going to get.
Based off that response, that would include you've never been to Mr. Epstein's Manhattan townhome,
I have not.
his New Mexico ranch,
No, I have not.
his Palm Beach residence,
No, I have not.
his...
She wasn't invited.
Didn't know he had one.
An ugly fucking lesbian wasn't invited to the party. Go figure.
I've been there.
Why? Again, she's acting like she doesn't understand why she's there. And you are so sensitive.
I also find it very interesting.
Don't you think it's, again, it's very interesting that instead of offering any sort of anything, no, Israel's good, blah, blah, anything like that, the pedo doubles down and flies the flag some more. Right? Like, think about how fucking, like, just brazen and stupid you have to be to do that. This is a result of all of their inbreeding. Trust me, these friars have been inbreeding the whole... That's why they look like they do. Did you see the video in Manchester of the I guess a kid got kidnapped? A Jewish man grabbed a kid and started running away with her. She got away. They called the cops. The cops got all weird and let the guy go. See your phone for a second? You got to see this shit. It's crazy. What is it, cowboy?
It's Bird. It's Bird. It's Bird. They're coming back. Spring's around the corner, bud.
All right, here, check this out.
Baby, stolen baby, cheetah milk. Okay, bro. Baby, stolen baby, cheetah milk. Jew has stole a kid.
Wait, look at this. They finally worked up enough to say P-E space D-O-S are bad. That's them acknowledging what's being P-dose. They can't even get it right. They don't even spell it right. You think that's you think that's an accident?
Police officers here.
I don't want to interrupt it.
Jew has stole a kid.
Jew has stole a kid.
Police officers here. Got away with a slap on the wrist. This is the suspect.
That guy. Looking like Blossom.
Run. So what happened? What happened there? Tell me. It's alright, I won't tell you. What happened?
I found the baby on the middle of the road.
Yeah? And then what did he do?
They tried to run away with the kid.
Just tried to run away from the kid, yeah? Police
I'll take drug problems over pedophile problems all day long. Yeah. But see, again, look at this shit. This is now the next response the pedo flag flyer says is, in America, youths have bad drug problems. Not in Israel. We have morals here.
Oh yeah, morals. Fucking babies.
You rape your own children.
It's disgusting.
Are you fucking crazy? You 8 days after every single boy while all you stand around and watch that shit. You're just disgusting.
Probably cheering it on.
Right. Oh yeah. 3 different devices, Oggo's phone, House TV, and Amber's phone, all getting different like numbers and comments. Gee, that makes sense. I have 7 watchers and 3 likes. It makes sense that you'd be seeing different numbers, right? This is how this works, isn't it? See, the part that I don't understand is why you guys who see it, don't go, holy shit, this is the guy. We need to get this shit out there. Combine it with the music. Oh, look. Oh, yeah, that's an astronaut there. He's an astronaut. Astronaut.
Back and looked at the transcripts of all of your other depositions, and none of the Republicans asked a single question.
Want to search a large inventory?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Check.
You trying to make this bipartisan or partisan?
Question to any witness about Jeffrey Epstein, or any question that would help provide answers for his victims, to any of the people you deposed. In fact, the only questions that were asked by the chairman to Attorney General Barr. And what were they about? They weren't about Jeffrey Epstein, about Ghislaine Maxwell. They weren't about victims and survivors. They were.
So it seems like this dumbass really thought that she would go to this thing and they would only ask her about Epstein and only ask her in a way that didn't involve her. Are you fucking kidding me?
General Barr, I may jump in for a couple of questions. Were you aware of the involvement of Hillary Clinton and the Clinton campaign in Acosta, Wexner? You didn't even show up at.
Apparently, we are very close to finishing. Madam Secretary, did Jeffrey Epstein ever request any meetings with State Department officials?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware of. That doesn't mean no.
She said she's never talked to him. She said that repeatedly.
Well, I guess they have to hear it over and over again for it to...
Do you not understand how this works, you dumb bitch?
Whatever.
Isn't it interesting that she's wearing the blue dress? Holy shit. Rolling astronauts. This is fucking
Request
nuts.
any meetings between you and your State Department officials?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware of.
Are you aware of any communication between your State Department staff and Mr. Epstein or Ms. Maxwell?
I am not.
This is so fucking crazy.
This is my third and final round. That's for
What did she just whisper to her? Look, we have the pedo who can't say anything other than the like she has her pacifier, and her pacifier is the pedo flag and saying free Hitler. Right? That's all she can do. She's in this spot where she is, you know, she's in your Hillary Clinton type of spot. Yep. Off my meds. There we go. Acknowledging yet again that they are all fucking Jewish pedophiles. They only have a few. They're not smart enough to say things that don't implement them, that don't incriminate them. They don't have that ability to roll with the punches and to, you know, to adjust. And you see it here. You've been brainwashed into thinking that these people are the best of the best and blah blah blah. The reality is, anytime you see them in an official capacity outside of the thing you're like something you're supposed to be watching, they're just terrible. They fall apart. Let's see if I can find this real quick. What was it? Bigger, better, stronger. Meeting. Congress. I think it's a congressman. Are they seriously? This movie's not even looking up anymore? Government Congress. Let's see. Are we serious? Like, it's just gonna be pictures of fucking. They're not gonna show us the movie. Bigger, better, stronger. The movie. But, let's see. It isn't. Wow, bigger, better, stronger doesn't even appear anymore. I guess somebody made a bigger, better, stronger Donald Trump remix, and that. Wow, this is fucking so strange. So stupid. Block. Fuck you.
Can the witness please state her name for the record?
Hillary Rodham Clinton.
William Jefferson Clinton.
Is there any reason you were unable to provide truthful testimony in today's interview?
No.
I don't believe so.
Former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton face off against a
Oh, this is sidebar with Jesse Webb. So no, this isn't gonna.
saga, and we have some of the most fiery moments all caught on tape. Welcome to Sidebar.
Sidebar is with a piece of shit Jew, so he's not gonna. You can't really look him.
But this is a very unusual
Look at
case,
this
as you
guy.
know. Such a
Look
rare
at this
kind of
fucking
case, but
weirdo.
also, seeing these depositions so quickly, having them released so quickly, also unusual. But again, this is a case, this is a story, this is an investigation about transparency. And remember why they are being questioned, okay? Aside from both of the
Joined 24 minutes ago. Has no subscribers. They're literally making fucking fake profiles so they can watch this feed.
From either Bill or Hillary Clinton to Jeffrey Epstein or vice versa. But
I have people so desperate to watch this feed that they're making fake profiles, and yet I have 5 viewers and 4 likes.
that the Clintons were connected to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. More specifically, that Clinton had traveled with Epstein for purposes of humanitarian work with the Clinton Foundation in the early 2000s after Bill Clinton left the office of presidency. And remember, this is before Jeffrey Epstein was charged in 2006 in Florida and ultimately pled guilty in 2008 to the state charges of solicitation of prostitution, including this is an hour's worth of footage. So to see,
As I stated,
respond to these questions, I think that's an element of value here, okay? Now, again, the House committee released both videos. Let's start with Hillary Clinton. This is her opening statement for the committee, and this is where she talks about a lack of transparency.
let me be as clear as I can. I do not. As I stated in my sworn declaration on January 13th, I had no idea about their criminal activities. I do not recall ever encountering.
So wait, think about it like this. Don't you think that before you meet with presidents and sort of high-ranking government officials, like at least from what the movies tell me and what the shows tell me, what West Wing tells me, is that the president is basically briefed on every single person. Like the Secret Service does a check on checks the database on every single person that comes through. You can't just go to the fucking White House and they'll be like, oh, okay, come on in. No ID, no, they check you out. And if you have any sort of history that is red flaggish, they prevent you from going in there. So for them to say they had no idea, like how did the Secret Service, in all of its omniscience, how could they not have known this shit? It's lagging minutes behind the television version of your live feed. Yep. I mean, how many years do you have to see this before you have your proof, Algo? As much as you don't want it to be the case, as much as you want it to be someone else, you've watched anybody else can think of, you've seen or heard of them. And you've never seen or heard of anything like what happens on my shit. Even with the interference that you've gotten yourself, it's nothing like what happens to me and what happens to you as a result of me.
It's just pretty phenomenal.
You know, you were running for office, you were doing all kinds of crazy shit, and they never fucked with you. Like they fucked with you once you started pushing my shit. Right? I don't know what else you need, dude. Everything I've been talking about is fucking coming true. Everything. All the shit I was wrong about, I should be focusing on this or that or the other. No, I'm gonna stay focusing here. I'll go, man, you're wrong. Well, like,
I never flew on his plane or visited his island, homes, or offices. I have nothing to add to that. A committee run by elected officials with a commitment to transparency would ensure the full release of all the files. It would ensure that the lawful redactions of those files protected the...
Do we know if anybody asked her about smashing the phones with hammers? Was that brought up at all throughout this?
victims and survivors, not powerful men and political allies.
This bitch actually thought this was going to work out for her.
That DOJ withheld FBI interviews in which a survivor Trump of crimes. It would subpoena anyone who asked on which night the wildest party on Epstein's island. It would demand testimony from prosecutors from Florida, New York, and the
See, this is an example of how controlled opposition works, right? Because controlled opposition says the right things. They don't say all of the right things, but they say a lot of the right things. So you go, oh shit, this is serious. Oh shit, Hillary's taking this seriously. She's calling out the right shit, and what she's saying is fucking true. You know? And it's just as true for Trump as it is for her. But they just don't want to acknowledge that part.
About why they gave Epstein a sweetheart deal and chose not to pursue others who may have been implicated in his crimes. But that's not happening. Instead, you have compelled me to testify, fully aware that I have no knowledge that would assist
That
your
smile.
investigation in order to distract from President Trump's actions and to cover them up despite legitimate calls for answers.
Didn't her and her husband volunteer? What does she mean they ordered her? I thought she was they were volunteering because they were so innocent and confident that they were going to volunteer to testify, and everybody was like, what? That's crazy, but here we go, joined. Oh, we actually have one. So this one says, it's my name, joined 13 years ago and has 8 subscribers. What a surprise. 13 years ago, 2013, I don't even know if I was on YouTube yet. But just think about like somebody behind this profile thinks what it is like, oh yeah, we're gonna go pretend to be him on his feed, and that's going to make him look bad, I guess. I don't even know. I don't know. I can't even imagine being that stupid. Which should sort of eliminate me from being Jewish, right? There's that one going around that I'm really Jewish. I'm just hiding it. Even though it would make my argument stronger. But even like this should prove it full stop here, right? It's just so fucking weird, man. It's so fucking weird if what I'm saying is false, I'm wrong. You know, the system has our best interest in mind, and I'm just some crazy conspiracy theorist. Yeah, that would be, then it would be really weird. But considering I'm right about all this, I've been right, and you know, I have the ability, the oratory ability to actually do something about this. Well, this happens instead. I mean, literally, my comment section mimics what you're seeing here. And people being like, "Oh yeah, I'll answer questions. Oh yeah, I'll argue. I'll debate you." And then when it comes down time, they just ad hominem left and right. That's all she does is ad hominem. But it's right here.
If this committee is serious about learning the truth about Epstein's trafficking crimes, it would not rely on press gaggle.
And also remember, like, if these trolls weren't pedophiles and shit, they weren't Israeli pedos, why aren't they using their troll ability to, you know, do the same thing? To try to fight against this system? To troll the news outlets, to troll the police departments, to troll government officials. Why don't they do that? Why do they focus on the person who says we should kill pedophiles and overthrow the Friars control scheme, and they try to interfere? Like, who else would do it? Other than Israeli pedos, who else is going to try to shut me down? 6 viewers, 5 likes. Totally makes sense, right?
To get answers from our current president on his involvement, it would ask him directly under oath about the tens of thousands of times he shows up in the Epstein files.
Joined 3 minutes
Majority
ago,
was
has no
seriously would not waste
subscribers.
time on fishing
This dumbass
expeditions.
just
There
keeps
is too much to
making
be done.
profiles.
This instant
Can you imagine mattering to anyone that much? Has anyone ever mattered to you that much? Has there ever been a person online that calls you a pedophile and they matter so much to you that when the person calls you a pedophile and blocks you, you just continuously make page after page after page, begging for their attention? Have you ever done anything like that? Right? Does anybody matter to you that much in the world? But especially like in a negative capacity where you're trying to interfere. Like, just think about how telling it is, right? I mean, you see the fucking, you see the narrative right in front of you. I don't know how else you explain it. These people aren't putting energy in, hey, let's work to overthrow this friar pedophile community that kills everything and rapes our children, rapes their own children. No, it's nothing like that. It's this weird crybaby shit, fantasy shit. Like somebody wants to be my slave, and like, what kind of weird shit is that? They go in directions that normal people just don't go into because we don't think like they do. You know? We don't think like, oh yeah, let's put people in caves. That's their shit. That's what they do. In that desperation in trying to distract, to infiltrate, to detract, on the page where, we're talking about the righteous things, not just the right things, but the righteous things, it just shows you, like, who else could it be? This is part of the mission. These are friars in the Rise app, RISE, capital APP, not two words, one word. Rise app, the formerly act.il service, where these people are being assigned the mission to come here and try to obfuscate, try to do whatever they can to interfere. It's all just well documented. It's all provable. I can prove it. I can provide an answer for why they're here and prove it way more so than they ever do. It's that simple, man. Good. You should be. And it's just crazy how they're so dumb they don't realize that by being so stupid, being so desperate and so obsessed and so fucking weird, they add to my narrative. Nobody else sees like when people see this and they see it and they're like, man, I watch Alex Jones and Ian Carroll and all these other people and I don't see anything like this. Now I'm here. What the fuck is this? You're making it better. And I appreciate it. That's why I leave you guys here. That's why I allow you to be in my world. I am your God and I keep you around.
Institutional failure is designed to protect one political party and one public official, rather than to seek truth and justice for the victims and survivors, as well as inform the public
Shut up.
the bottom of this matter. My heart breaks for the survivors, and I am furious on their behalf.
Now, I mean, it seems that the argument
That seems like a great
to those in the Trump administration, right? People who appear in the Epstein files that are not
Howard Ludnick.
properly investigated.
Motherfucker.
Like Howard Ludnick.
Introducing the score bet for Sunday.
He's such a piece of shit. Just king of the piece of shits.
Neighbor of Jeffrey Epstein, United States
The guy that laughs every time it's brought up.
Controversial because there were communications that would suggest he really didn't cut off contact when he said he cut off contact with Jeffrey Epstein, but also really focusing on President Donald Trump, right, who appears multiple times in the files, has faced uncorroborated.
How many times is Goyim in the files?
Which, by the way, we talked about in prior sidebars. I gotta call out this moment. Okay, so this is where Hillary Clinton finds out that someone took a photo of her during this deposition. Remember, it was reported that it was Representative Lauren Boebert, okay, Republican, who shared a picture of her with a conservative commentator on, it was posted all online. It's a big no-no because the rules require no unauthorized video.
Look at this guy's nose.
Of a closed-door deposition.
Jesus.
Watch Hillary Clinton erupt.
You're showing me an email from someone who I don't recall knowing about a fundraiser that wasn't for me but was for Congresswoman Lowy. I have no information. I went to the fundraiser to support my friend Nia Lowy. All right.
Right? You just went to a fundraiser?
I have another photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying from inside this room. Can you please advise me as to whether or not that's permissible and consistent with the rules? Particularly
What the fuck do you care?
Have asked for a public hearing. If there are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how I'm done with this? If you guys are doing that, I am.
You're mad that people are taking photos of you while you're in a taped deposition. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, this couldn't be more distraction bullshit. What a thing to get upset about. This broad is a fucking clown, man. I'm done. I'm leaving.
This is just typical behavior.
If you're taking my picture, I'm leaving. Oh, for heaven's sakes.
It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I would like to take a break.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm done.
I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Eventually, the testimony resumed. But now, I want to move on to something else, okay?
Policies start at just $6.38 per month, with most benefits paid in as little as 24 hours. And best of all, your rate will never increase, and your coverage will never decrease. That's our rate lock guarantee. Help protect the ones you love. Get a policy with a budget-friendly monthly premium and up to $25,000 in life insurance.
The thing about life insurance, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Because once you need it, it's too
I think we all knew this was probably going to come up. Monica Lewinsky, the president's former affair, right? I mean,
why
there's a lot
wouldn't
that
it
came
come up?
over this when you knew the Clintons were going to testify, and after they testified, the argument came up that people say this is another example of Hillary Clinton addressing her husband's actions, this time with respect to Epstein. But there is an apparent connection that Republican Representative Nancy Mace is trying to make here between the two. And by the way, Nancy Mace has been quite vocal about the handling of the Epstein files and the need for further action. But take a look at this.
On December 19th, 1998, President Clinton was impeached on charges of perjury and obstruction of justice, which directly related to his extramarital affair with Monica Lewinsky. Is that correct?
Yes.
And your husband was impeached for perjury related to sexual behavior, correct?
I didn't understand what you said.
Your husband was free.
It's not my understanding.
Roderick, who alleged.
That is absolutely untrue.
Well, there's documentation in the DOJ files. I'm not to
We
your
would like that
terms.
documentation.
Okay. The files, these are appears in
Financial pattern and practice of contact with Jeffrey Epstein and his crimes before they came to light.
And does that include your husband?
And after they came to light. You're going to have a chance to question him tomorrow.
So
A pool, sitting in a hot tub. You know, I could have done it in a
Word Lutnick, once again.
statement, and you could have moved on to depose somebody else who might have more information. At the same time, we're being treated, that there was an unfair treatment to my husband and myself.
Oh.
And I thought that,
Oh, it's unfair for
from my
her.
perspective, I had very little, if any, information to provide you, and that I could have done it in a sworn statement, and you could have moved on to depose somebody else who might have more information that would be
beneficial to your
I have two more questions.
We'll get back to the hot tub a little bit later, but now I want to talk about Howard Lutnick once again. Again, the current United States Secretary of Commerce.
Why is he the Secretary of Commerce?
Epstein files. Again, was neighbors with Epstein, communicated with Epstein through emails. There is even a photo.
Is nobody going to talk about Bubba? Who the fuck Bubba is?
Now, Hillary Clinton is asked about him, and watch what happens.
Did it concern you at all that Ghislaine Maxwell was heavily involved with people?
You want to start a business. You might think you need a team of people and fancy tech skills, but you don't.
People you knew and were close to?
I knew people that I knew her.
Look at that's the picture of Bill in the dress. Look at the dress she's wearing.
You know, until her
Oh, right next to each
crimes
other.
were revealed and she was indicted and
Look at that
tried
shit.
and convicted, I don't think
You don't think that's weird?
people knew very much about at all.
And
what
then
she
how do
was
you know
doing.
Howard Lutnick?
I know Howard Lutnick because when I was senator
Oh, this is.
on
We saw
9/11,
this bullshit.
I did on the floor about it. I was a senator representing. You know, Howard Lutnick and I did work together because we had a lot of victims.
Prominent Democratic.
Let's see what Jesse has to say.
Fine, I'll do the heavy lifting.
Per usual.
Okay, now I want to go back to Lauren Boebert, who had this very interesting back and forth on this.
She looks fake. Look at her mouth and her teeth.
2016 conspiracy theory about Pizzagate.
The conspiracy theory. What the fuck? And why do we talk about it like that? Why does every single one of these people who is allowed to have a channel that gets views, that gets paid, every single one of them calls Pizzagate a crazy conspiracy theory and acts like it's been debunked? Where has it been debunked? When has it been debunked? Oh, look, we have another piece of shit rabbi, a fake rabbi here. Right? Shalom, says the piece of shit rabbi. The pedophile, this isn't the admitted pedophile one, even though as a rabbi, as a fake rabbi. These are all fake fucking profiles. That guy's not really a fucking rabbi. You know. But it just goes to show you again, these characters that get sent my way only to get destroyed, and yet they make the feed. This would be so much more difficult if they didn't try so fucking hard and fail. What did I do for you to call me a piece of shit every time you see me? You're a fucking rabbi. What? You're pretending to be a rabbi. So if you were a rabbi, that would make you a huge piece of shit. But the fact that you're pretending to be such a huge piece of shit makes you a huge piece of shit. That's blood libel slander. We don't have to do this today. Yeah, again, stealing words against you. Blood libel is Jews kidnapping Christian children, bleeding them dry to use their blood to bake into their matzah and for their rituals, and then leaving the body either in a conspicuous place where it can be found, or grinding it up and putting it into McDonald's and shit. It's blood libel was, it's been documented hundreds of times in the fake history that they give us, at least 1,000 years back. It's documented hundreds of times. And as of recently, they sort of did what they did with not conspiracy theorists, but with anti-Semitism, where they took the word and they start using it themselves and being like, this is against us. It's not. It's fucking not. They're just fucking stupid. They're fucking stupid. He's so stupid, he can't do anything but make my argument for me. He's not gonna explain to us what the Talmud says about if a goyim rapes a child, they should be killed. But if one of them rapes a child, as long as they're 3 years and 1 day old, then the rapist is required to pay the full dowry to the victim's family, and and once they do, the victim now belongs to the rapist in a capacity that's in between a slave and a wife. Right? Explain that part. Explain the Matitza Buffet. Explain why Matitza Buffet is okay. I'd love to hear your explanations, man. If you could solve these riddles for me, then I could stop doing what I'm doing. I could go about my life, and I wouldn't have to worry about all the children being ritualistically sexually abused by you.
Making connections between the two. Pizzagate was the unfounded theory that you have
Unfounded.
sex trafficking pedophiles.
Coming up here to explore Alaska and look for this precious metal. The reason why it's so expensive is it's actually in every electronic device that you own. It's in your cell phone, computer, everything like that. Well, it's pretty. It's pretty cool. Another piece of Alaska right here. Alaska, our 49th state. Just the very word conjures up images of giant glaciers and beautiful mountains stretching off as far as the eye can see, and it doesn't disappoint. Getting a chance to go out and see brown bears and black bears up close is something that I dreamed of doing. And of course, it's not just about the wildlife, but being able to spend time in the majesty of the mountains. Alaska is twice the size of Texas. Its motto is the last frontier. I can't think of a more accurate description for this wild and awe-inspiring place. That's it for this week on Awesome Planet. I'm Philip Cousteau, and we'll see you next time.
I hate these fucking fryers, man. I just hate them so much. You know, because this Jesse Weber guy in this story, they try to make it seem like they're decent, they're on the right side, they're exposing this, that, and the other, and they're just pieces of shit. They're just playing along. Anybody who tries to say anything about Pizzagate being unfounded, debunked, whatever, they're lying. It's never even come close to that. Unfounded and debunked, not even fucking close.
File ring featuring prominent Democratic figures was being
And it wasn't just Democrats that were involved in Pizzagate. Why do they keep saying that?
Pizza shop. Bober
See,
asks,
isn't it interesting how this page, this completely separate page from the other one, is literally pushing the same narrative? That Democrats were running a pedophile network out of a pizza shop? That's what Pizzagate's supposed to be? It's not it at all. It's just Pizzagate was a play on words because pizza was mentioned so many times in the fucking files in the weirdest ways, and it was a play off of Watergate because it was a huge cover-up type scandal.
As in 2017 speeches and interviews, you described Pizzagate as a baseless conspiracy.
Man, since you're a new mom and she's a new baby,
I am a new mom, and she is a new baby.
Man to show up with his assault rifle.
Oh, God. She does these grandstanding, political bullshit responses all the time. Where she brings, like, when she's talking about Howard Ludnick and she keeps talking about the 3,000 victims on 9/11. The 3,000 victims.
Don't follow.
It's literally the same shit as they do on my feed. That's how you know it's the same people. It's the same group. Right? Because they respond the same way here. Bringing up the weirdest bullshit they can that doesn't have anything to do with what's being said, doesn't answer for what's being said and doesn't make anything they're saying look or seem any better. Right? They are all compromised. I mean, it's like they're not all compromised in that like they were put into a bad position. They wouldn't have been allowed to be where they are if they weren't that way. Bill and Hillary Clinton is a completely manufactured like situation. You show me a picture of Hillary Clinton pregnant and I'll believe you. Look at Chelsea Clinton. She doesn't look like either of them. I mean, you know, she kind of does. Like, you know, how people and their dogs look alike after they live together for a long time. But like she doesn't, you're not like, oh yeah, if you saw her on the streets, you wouldn't think, oh yeah, you're Hillary Clinton's daughter or you're Bill Clinton's daughter. You'd think, I wonder what that Jewish girl's name is. You know, she's clearly like, it's a manufactured thing. And again, think about what they were doing. They knew they had to have, I was talking about this earlier, they knew they had to have Bill has to have a wife to be president. They want this guy to be president. They've been, you know, manufacturing him since he was a kid. They took the picture with Kennedy, like all this shit, right? It's not like Bill's people took the picture. A random photographer took the picture, and yet somehow it exists. Like it's just fucking stupid. But they knew that like, who's going to play Bill's wife? What woman is going to be this man's wife knowing he is constantly cheating on her? And they said, well, fuck, what about that lesbian girl that has the big ambitions? That comes from what's the British guy's name? Churchill family line. She's a Churchill. You just don't know it. It's just hidden. You put her up next to Churchill and she looks very similar. Similar. But you know, they were like, look, this girl will tell her, hey, you play this role, you get to be fucking secretary. We might even make you the first female president. If not, at the very least, you'll be the first female to win the presidency. We might not let you actually serve it, but you'll be the first one to win it. You have all these ambitions. You know you'll never climb anything without our approval. So here, will you be the Clinton beard? And you know, who else?
Can
like,
I please, huh?
right. I mean, well, am I allowed to bring my lesbian lover with me? Oh yeah, of course. Her lesbian friend is always with her. Always. Never been in a relationship. Never, you know, this woman has never had a relationship that anybody knows of, and she travels with Hillary everywhere. There are also, I don't know if the picture is, I don't remember if the picture is real or not. Well, I think they say the picture isn't real, but there are definitely stories of her and this, of those two, Hillary and that woman, holding hands and shit, walking around college campus. You know, I mean, and this woman travels with her everywhere she goes. She's Hillary's bestie, and she just travels with her everywhere. Never had, because of her bestie-ship with Hillary, she's never had a relationship that anybody can point to. I mean, it's clear what she is, right? It's clear she's Hillary's secret, you know, wife, huh? Her soul, no, he's her beard. He's her soulmate. She's her soulmate. They're clearly like, what they have is beautiful if they've been secretly together this long throughout everything like that. They must have some sort of beautiful connection. But that's the part. Like they because of the bullshit, it's all hidden. But who else is going to be like no self-respecting woman is going to willingly be like, oh yeah, that young girl sucked my husband's dick in office. He's the president, most powerful man in the world. And everybody knows about it. It's this big deal. And it's one of many times, not to mention there's Danny Williams, the kid nobody fucking talks about, the guy nobody talks about, Danney Williams, who his family had been paid off his entire life. And he was like 27 or some shit. And just before the election, the system they wanted Trump to win. But because nobody liked Trump, Hillary still won anyway. But they tried one last ditch effort to play on people's racism by saying Bill had this illegitimate kid with this poor black prostitute woman. And that Hillary knew about it, and they paid them a monthly stipend and all that shit. And he was supposed to have a DNA test done, and the results were going to come out the day after the election. We're tallied. Mine. Maybe.
Oh, because I hadn't gotten to this one.
It's not beautiful, it's horrendous. Play sacrifice children together. I mean, yeah, outside of that shit, obviously. But I'm saying for two people, even just because they're lesbian, but obviously if these two people had a connection outside of sinister shit, because there's lots and lots of sinister people that they could be, but two people having a connection for such a long time is the beautiful thing. You're right. It's disgusting. They're disgusting. But, it's not because they're gay. That's my point.
Crazy conspiracy stories that are on.
Next question, want to provide a little context here. So remember Anthony Weiner served in the U.S. House of Representatives, had to resign over claims he sent women sexually suggestive photos. Then there was the whole scandal of him texting a teenager. He was convicted of having sent obscene material to a child. He was released after 18 months in prison. Now, he was connected to Hillary Clinton because his then wife, Uma Abedin, had been an aide to Clinton. And during the investigation into Weiner, the FBI found emails belonging to Abedin on Weiner's laptop. And then that led FBI Director James Comey to announce that the FBI was reopening its investigation, its probe into Clinton's handling of official emails and
Files that were
handling of official emails. And this was before the 2016 election. Guess what? She was asked about this in the deposition. Not happy.
Are you aware of any files that were on Anthony Weiner's laptop in a folder that was titled insurance, life insurance, with a zip file titled Frazzle?
Chairman's ruling.
This is way outside the
scope.
Is this within the scope? It's not about, hey, she's innocent, so just let her answer the question. Is this within the scope? Is she allowed to ask this question? If you're innocent of something, do you care if somebody asks you the question? I've never been, upset or, I'm innocent, of course. But especially, it's not just like a casual conversation. She's in a deposition that has to do with a worldwide pedophile trafficking network that involved the highest ranking people in the world. That went on at the same time as all of this other shit, the frazzle drips and the pizza gates and all that shit. These all coincide with each other. They were all happening at the same time, and they're similar, and yet everybody's supposed to believe that they just didn't know about each other. No, we were all separately raping children. Oh. What are your poly market predictions on our war with Iran? I predict, hope, pray, beg God with all the Jesus, everything I can that Iran destroys Israel. That would be amazing. It sucks, and it would be a tremendous loss of life and all that stuff, but fuck it, man.
We're losing our people, though.
Yeah, well, oh well. I've for a long time, like I always have my kids when they see an old man and he has on one of those hats. Go thank that man for his sacrifice. And more than anything, what they're doing is thanking the child for sacrificing their innocence, right? Because that was somebody's child that was convinced to believe in patriotic bullshit and, every fucked up thing you can imagine. They were lied to, left and right, lied to. And then they went to a situation where they found out firsthand that they were being lied to, but they were forced to continue and it fucked them up. Like, that shit is horrendous. I feel bad for anyone. And because of that sacrifice, because of that bullshit, I want, I thank them. Thank you for the sacrifice. Thank you for clearly what you've done. Like, you guys are heroes, and what they went to fight for was, noble, I guess, in that regard, right? They were tricked into believing something that just wasn't true. But nowadays, with computers and everything else that's available to people, for them to people, if you joined the military in the last 20 years, you joined because you knew there was a good chance you were going to be killing brown people. And because of that, like, I really do lose a lot of respect for you. But at the same time, everybody that joins the military is tricked into it as a kid. These are 17-year-olds being tricked into joining at 18. These are just, they're dumb as shit. Young, dumb, full of cum. They're just dumb. They're in Musk, and it's being taken advantage of, and it's horrible. But that's what you did. You joined that shit. If you didn't know you were joining an Israeli regime at this point, you just didn't. Like, how are you gonna, we're not talking about you went and shopped at the wrong store or something. You made a lifelong decision, and you didn't bother looking into it first? I'm sorry you fucking signed up to go kill brown people and ended up getting killed yourself. But I don't know, I just can't feel bad for them. The issue would be, obviously, that the spin that would happen is that they killed innocent Americans on purpose. Anybody that died, you would have their family members here and the system here being like, oh, Iran had no business. Dude, they were killing innocent soldiers there just trying to take over their country. What the fuck? It's awful. Israel had the right to defend itself. Really? Does anybody have a right to defend itself from Israel, you putz? How does Israel have a right to defend itself while they're the aggressor? How did Iran attack Israel first? Like, you're just such a dumbass. All of your little pull cord things aren't going to work on me because I know everything you're talking about, but I know more. I know deeper. So everything you end up saying is going to work against you. Your country is helping us because your nation knows this is true. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Because there's overwhelming support of Israel here in the United States. It's not the fact that you guys have weaseled your way into all the powerful positions and you hold everybody's families hostage. It has nothing to do with that, right? Like, you're just a dumb pig, and all you're going to do is keep proving it. You invest in your children's futures by raping them? Is that how you do it? By raping them? The Iron Dome only has so many bullets, and Iran has many more. No, see, the Iron Dome isn't real to begin with. People need to understand, the only reason you think there's an Iron Dome is because of Israeli footage that shows Israeli interceptors intercepting Israeli missiles that were shot into agreed upon coordinates where they could then be shot down. Every time one or two missiles just randomly get shot into Israel and then they get shot down, oh, Hezbollah did it, Hamas did it. No, Israel did it. And then they push the footage to show hey, we have an Iron Dome. You better not shoot at us, and whatever you do, don't shoot directly in. You got to shoot up into the sky. But it's all bullshit. The Iron Dome isn't real. Just like the Samson option isn't real. The power of the Samson option is the power of the Iron Dome. It's the same power. It's belief. If you believe in it, then it's true. If you believe in it, you won't bother, because, why would you bother shooting anything into Israel's airspace? One, if it's just going to get shot down, but two, if you are successful, then they'll just launch the Samson option and kill everyone. They'll nuke everyone. That's their fucking bullshit. But they don't have that capability. And Iran proved that they don't have, or that the Iron Dome isn't real the last time there was some, one of these bullshit things that's happening. And the thing is, we don't actually know what's happening. Iran proved that they can strike Israel. The footage, if you look, it's gigantic mansions that were hit. Huge compound mansions that were hit. But Iran proved that they could get through the Iron Dome, no problem. So why didn't they continue to? Israel has claimed there's 150,000 rockets pointed at Israel at all directions. How come all of these Muslim countries who happen to sign the Abraham Accords haven't unified to eliminate the cancerous threat that is Israel? They all have the same enemy. Lebanon, Syria, Iran, Palestine, Yemen. They're all fighting against the same bad guy. So why aren't they unifying? And why isn't Saudi Arabia stepping in and wiping out this fucking threat? I mean, the Abraham Accords, they're some of the worst legislation ever signed. There's shit like the qualitative military advantage or edge, the QME, which states that we are to ensure that Israel always has the mightiest military. And if anybody gets anything or any sort of acquiring or building of somebody does something that makes their military mightier, the U.S. is then responsible for giving Israel enough to create this arbitrary edge that they say, this percentage or whatever that they say they're supposed to be better than. So you see this bullshit where, like, because of the Abraham Accords, like, let's say we had to give Bahrain 20 F-35 fighter jets so they would play nice with Israel. That was what the Abraham Accords are all about. Us paying other countries so that Israel can do what it wants to do in that country. Right? And guaranteeing that other country won't attack Israel no matter what they do. It's literally the craziest bunch of legislation you could, and it doesn't exist for anyone else. And when you get distracted by Trump, Biden, that kind of bullshit, understand that was both of their main goal, was signing as many countries into the Abraham Accords, but especially Saudi Arabia. We actually offered Saudi Arabia a civilian nuclear program if they would sign the fucking deal, and they still wouldn't sign the deal. But it's so because we give Bahrain 20 F-35 fighter jets, we have to give Israel 35 F-35 fighter jets so they can maintain their QME, their qualitative military advantage. This is on top of the memorandum of understanding that gives them $3.8 billion a year. Cash payment upfront, first fiscal month of every year. Cash, no restrictions, no strings, no monitoring, nothing. It's said to be for military. It used to say that they were required to spend that money not on developing their own shit, but on buying weapons from the United States to complete the illusion, right? Because we can't just be seen giving Israel armaments, but if they're buying them from us, oh, that's fine. Even though they're buying them from us with our own money. They're just giving us back money. In theory. In theory. In reality, anytime Israel wants weapons, there are other grants set aside, or they'll take it from hurricane assistance funds or shit like that to pay for Israel to get those weapons. It does not come out of their $3.8 billion a year. So on top of the Memorandum of Understanding, the MOU, that we have to pay every year, we also have to pay the Abraham Accords, all the different deals that we had set up where we give certain countries X amount of money or X amount of firepower or whatever it is. Every year, this is something that they sign, is an every year deal. We also have to pay for the qualitative military advantage, where, that's just endless. Who knows how much that? Who knows how much we end up giving Israel every year with all of the different aspects of it. They might say it's X amount, but that amount doesn't include everything. Not to mention, it doesn't include all of the civilian programs and 501c3s and all that shit that funnel money into Israel. For a country of what used to be 9, I'm assuming they're probably closer to 10 million people at this point since they've been bringing in so much. For a country of 10 million people to be given $3.8 billion, which turns into 15 billion shekels. From the United States alone, Canada gives them $2 billion, Australia gives them $1.2 billion. Who knows how much Germany has to give them and all the other countries. They have 10 million people. They don't work. They have slaves to do everything. They actually purchased 42,000 slaves, supervised laborers, from India in early 2023. Nobody talks about it. 38,000 earmarked for construction, 4,000 earmarked for elderly care. Both of those jobs were like solely Palestinian jobs. The Palestinians who have to go through a checkpoint every morning, takes like an hour plus. It's a violation. They get searched. They get abused. They go and they work all day, and then when they leave, they have to go back through a checkpoint where, again, they're searched and abused and all that shit. And at the end of it all, they have to pay about half of what they make back to Israel just to be allowed to work. It's all bullshit, man. Like October 7th, the October 7th false flag where no Israelis died and no Israelis were taken hostage. It's all bullshit. And everything they showed us from that was bullshit. It was all just fake. All right, I went off for a little bit. Let's see. I gave these dumb friars a chance to speak. Let's see what they come up with. The Iron Dome only has so many bullets. We don't win. I am ultra-Orthodox, so I did but need to serve when I lived in the Holy Land. No, I understand. It's that's why Naphtali Bennett supposedly won from 2021 to 2022, June of 2021 to 2022. Israel had 6 prime ministers over a 3-year period. Started with Netanyahu, then it went to Benny Gantz, Defense Minister Benny Gantz. Then it went back to Netanyahu. Then Naphtali Bennett won. And Naphtali Bennett's his whole thing. See, Netanyahu had some brilliance going on that people didn't catch on to. I didn't even catch it until much too late. The only thing that Naphtali Bennett and Netanyahu differed on was Netanyahu has always said all Israelis at 18 have to serve at least something in the military. You don't have to, you're never going to go to war or anything like that. You just have basic training, teach you how to do some shit, maybe how to sort of defend yourself, even though you're just a weak piece of shit as is. But gives you military training and essentially makes you a reservist so that every single civilian has military training and if need be can be called to fight. Naphtali Bennett, on the other hand, was like, no, all that fighting stuff is for the Goyim. That's why we have them. Anytime we need anything done, we just have America do it. Our people are supposed to go to yeshiva and then go on their pilgrimage world tours where they get to, they get that government paycheck and they go around the world and they party and that, it's a huge big vacation. It takes years. They're just traveling the world for years, having a great time. And that's what Naphtali Bennett did. And the brilliance of what Netanyahu was doing wasn't shown until this year, or last year actually, when the U.S. signed legislation, when Trump signed legislation saying that the U.S. would be responsible for any Israeli soldier's pension, medical, any of that shit. If you were a soldier for Israel, if you served in the Israeli military, you now get the United States military pension program on top of your Israeli shit. And so essentially, Netanyahu was just setting everyone up to get that pension. It's just, he didn't say it. It just wasn't talked about. And now you see what he was doing. So I wonder how they're going to retrofit that back with all the rest of these piece of shit cowards. These pedophiles, but they're going to get their Israeli pension anyway, so it doesn't much matter. And what you'll see, people in the comment section, new people, whatever, you're going to see that nothing that I talk about gets debunked, gets denied, gets pulled apart. They'll talk about all kinds of other dumb shit, but they're not going to address anything I'm saying. Let's see. More slander and racism. You're not a race. Can't be racist against the fucking cult. It's a cult. Right? That's not a race of people. You can't convert to a different race. I don't care how many stereotypes you adopt. You can't change your race. You're always going to be the race that you were. So when you have people like Sammy Davis Jr. and Nell Carter converting to Judaism, that sort of kills the idea that it's a race, doesn't it? Look at this. Look at all these dumb comments. There's good Israelites and bad. No, there's not. No, there's not. Show me the Israelites that are speaking out against the rape and torture and ritualistic sexual abuse of their own children. Show me the friars that are speaking out against Matitza B'Peh. You think it has to do with genocide, because there are the actors that are put in place that are like, oh no, we don't agree with genocide. And then there's like the handful that are like, no, Israel shouldn't exist because the Messiah hasn't shown up yet. Because that's really what the Bible says. That's what the belief structure says. Israel shouldn't exist until after the Messiah shows up and the temple's rebuilt, blah, 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 bullshit. But, I mean, there's nobody out there in their community that is outwardly speaking out against Matitza B'Peh and or the ritualistic sexual abuse. And until you can show me that shit, yeah, I'm gonna continue going with this. When will you come up to my synagogue? Never, you piece of shit. Never. So I could show you the truth about our geopolitical history and about your obsession with Matitza B'Peh. So you have the opportunity to explain things here where not only is it me that you could explain it to, but you could explain it to anyone else who happens to be watching this video and might see me and or might see the video and have the same questions, might agree. You're not gonna feed a bunch of birds with one seed. You're gonna cry about it, and I need to come see you. I need to go smell your stink ass for you to be able to fucking tell me something. Yeah, you're super smart. The U.S. owe Israel this for what? What do we owe you for? What could we possibly owe Israel for? And how have we not paid it back yet? The trillions and trillions of dollars. Why are you owed this?
What you got?
Something. We don't work. Then why do we have all the best jobs in the U.S.? Because it's a club. You don't work for those jobs. You don't earn those jobs. You call Uncle Morty. It's all a conspiracy. You don't fucking work. And Tyler Oliveira has been proving that left and right. Especially not your dumbass. You said you're ultra orthodox. You guys definitely don't work. You have your 17, 18 kids, and you don't think you should have to work for it. I'm telling you the truth. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm sure you do. Why do you think we are in Iran? For fucking Netanyahu. Hopefully it's because of your arrogance, and it's going to backfire, and you're going to get annihilated because of it.
I mean, it already is. We're already losing.
Who knows? We don't know anything.
They've destroyed millions of dollars in military bases of ours. Millions of dollars in military bases.
I mean, I personally don't believe Iran is attacking everything but Israel. You know, that just doesn't make any sense. I think Israel is attacking and saying it's Iran. And there are videos coming out showing it. Like I saw this one video that was talking about if the missiles were supposedly from Iran, they would have come from this direction. But the missiles came from this direction, which could only mean it was Israel.
No, they turned.
Oh yeah, turning missiles.
Did you see Bugs Bunny?
What we need to understand is that they're doing what they did in Palestine here in the United States. That's what Tyler Oliveira is showing, and he just showed you a small piece of it. But they've been doing their settlement bullshit here for the last 20 years or so. Rich Jews buying up huge plots of land or buying up towns. And then they instill their own people into every government position they can. You know, I mean, they're moving into these neighborhoods and they're going up to people and saying, hey, you have this $100,000 house, we'll give you $500,000 to move. Who's not going to take that shit? You'd be stupid not to take that shit. Where are they getting all this money from? They don't work. They go to yeshiva all day. Interestingly, they claim they go to yeshiva all day and they're basically studying the same book, the same belief structure that they've been studying since they were 10 years old and taken out of public schools, if they even went to public schools. And yet, none of them seem to be able to have any sort of intelligent conversation or explain or anything about what they believe. They just come across as dumb as fuck every single time you try to give them an opportunity to make things not seem so crazy. We've been taking over Argentina as well. Yeah, we know about it. You've been lighting Argentina on fire and then buying it up because outsiders aren't allowed to own Argentinian land except for one of the people that you instilled passed a law saying that if the land had been burnt up in some sort of fire or something, then outsiders could buy it. And there's actually footage of some settler little trolls lighting one of the forest fires. And yet, there's nothing. There's all sorts of videos of Argentinians talking about it. Same thing. They're doing the same thing in Greece. They're doing the same thing in Cyprus.
What's in here?
They're doing the same thing in you know, in all sorts of places where they're just, plus there's the Greater Israel Project. You know, but the thing is, I've been saying this since November 2022, when you learn about the people that they put in charge. So now you have Netanyahu, Itmar Ben-Gvir, who is among, if not the worst, he's right there. And Bezalel Smotrich. Avi Moaz and others, but those three guys, their egos are so tremendous that the hope is they destroy themselves. Because at the end of the day, they're each one is going to believe themselves to be the superior one, and hopefully they destroy themselves. The other thing is their insatiable greed and arrogance and overconfidence in what they're doing. I mean, again, 10 years ago, I was the pariah. Nowadays, you know, it's all over the place. My wife's feed is full of this shit. Regular people. You know, all the people for years, she would tell me, I can't share your stuff. People won't like it. They're going to get mad because they're saying things. Now they're all saying the same shit. We have LA, New York, and Florida as well. I wouldn't say you have all those, but yeah, you do. But again, at the end of the day, you make up 0.183% of the world's population. 2% of the U.S. population. When we decide that it's over, when you slip up and let me get a platform, which, you know, you're not going to, but if for some weird reason you do, it's over. You know it. You can never let me have a platform because you know I speak for the people. I'm the thing that you guys fear most. A Gaianist, an atheist, somebody who doesn't fall for your bullshit even a little bit. You know, I'm not subscribing to one of three Abrahamic bullshits, which is your main form of control. And I know your shit too much better than you do. Like, there's nothing you can say or do that's gonna win against me. It's beautiful, man. You know what's crazy is I disagree with this. I've been looking at these drunk drivings and shit lately, and I think, like, how can you be responsible for that, right? Once you, I mean, because of the way that we see it, we don't see it as for what it is. So you can't blame people for succumbing to the constant alcohol promotion that's everywhere. But once you imbibe this poison, it immediately attacks your inhibition. So you immediately think, hey, you know what? Maybe I could have a second drink. Maybe I could just I'm fine. I can have a third drink. And then you see it all the time with these arrests where people who absolutely aren't those kinds of people turn into a completely different person. This broad is spitting on people, fighting these. She would never do that sober. Why are we allowed to have a substance that does that to us?
Why is it legal?
Why is it legal? Why is it promoted?
Pushed in everything. Every self.
What is it? Blue Bloods. And, you know, they show the commissioner and his kid. They're literally always pouring fucking rocks glass with a good, you know, inch or more of like really high quality scotch. And they all sit around and they drink it. And then they go driving and shit. It's like, it's so encouraged, everything, you know, beer, gotta buy beer. They literally, have made it so if you want to go to sports, at sports you're supposed to drink beer and have fun and act like, you're allowed to let that but you're allowed to let that thing out that's inside of us. We all have that wild side, but we're not allowed to let it out anywhere. And so you go to a sports thing and everybody's wild and having fun and you have a couple of drinks and they can charge you fucking $18 a beer and shit. I mean, it's just insane. But it's them. They own all that shit. Thank you for proving a great point. We are the smallest population with the highest IQ. No, you're not. That's not even close to the point. That's not even it at all. You are the smallest population, but you're in the position you're in because you're the worst. Because you're the least compassionate, the least caring, because you're the type that will kill your own. I mean, let's just face it. Going back to your fake ass Maccabee bullshit, the reason why Hanukkah is celebrated, you have a guy, Johann Maccabee, going around fucking killing Jews who refused to circumcise and join his crusade. Those who do circumcise are then, they're supposed to join the crusade of people either walking or riding horses, going to the next farm, because they all happen to know where all the Jews live. They go from farm to farm, killing Jews who refuse to circumcise. That's why we celebrate Hanukkah. Like, that's how fucked up this. Hannibal directive kind of shit. If one of them gets captured, make sure you try to shoot them in the head so that they have a painless death, but they can't be used as a bargaining chip. That's what the Hannibal directive is all about. The only deaths that did take place on October 7th were Hannibal directive deaths. And what you're going to keep seeing in this video is me bringing up factual shit and this fake-ass rabbi character crying. He doesn't have anything to actually say. He's just crying. He's crying because he knows I'm right. I'm literally right about everything. That's more slander. What? What part's wrong? Everything. No, specifically. Tell me what part's wrong, crybaby. My IQ is 142. I took a test online and it said so. They're sending me my doctorate in the mail. It only cost me $35.
In 2 months. Don't forget the 2 months.
Yeah, you did put in a lot of time. I studied hard. Surprisingly, though, I didn't even need to really study that hard. Surprisingly, I just sort of knew it all. You'd have thought it'd be a lot harder, but I guess not. No. Weirdly, too, on the test, they didn't seem to care about the theirs and yours and twos either. Told you. Even the IQ test doesn't care, you grammar Nazi. I'm not crying, boy. I'm getting everything our prophecies foretold, and you guys are helping with that. What prophecies are you talking about? See, again, you say these dumb things, but because you're not a real rabbi, you can't actually back it up. Though people should understand that one of their biggest things is that upon the Messiah's return, each one of them gets 2,000 goyim slaves. Every single one of them gets 2,000 of us. Now, in a physical reality sort of setting, that's impossible. There's no way a little tiny troll fucking, friar piece of shit is going to be able to control 2,000 people. However, if you look at it from a metaphorical standpoint, for them to live the free life that they live, it takes about 2,000 of us doing what we do. And so, theoretically, we're all part of a 2,000 slave brigade that facilitates their lives. Like, you notice how this dumb rabbi character hasn't bragged about the job that he supposedly has? Here every day, crying, begging for attention, defending pedophilia, defending fucking genocide. When does he work? Where does he work again? You thought it was 2,800. Is it 2,800? Yeah, you know what? It might be 2,800. I might be off on that. Let's see.
Oh my gosh, are you taking my pants that I'm wearing while I'm wearing them? Seriously. You have issues. Yep, they're entitlement issues specifically.
Look, where is it?
Get out of here.
Let's see. No, let's see. Damn, I can't find the video. Let's see. How many slaves will Jews get when the Messiah returns? 2,800 slaves. Oh. The idea that every Jew will have a specific number of slaves when the Messiah comes is not a mainstream belief in Judaism, but rather a misinterpretation of a specific Talmudic passage that has been amplified as anti-Semitic propaganda. It doesn't exist. It's just in our holiest book, and then Goyim figured it out. And then when they tell it, when they say what it is, it's like they're not allowed to say that. Source of the 2,800 figure comes from a discussion in the Talmud, Shabbat 32b, where Resh Lakish discusses the rewards for being observant of specific commandments, stating that one will be served by 2,800 slaves. Interpretation. Many scholars and commenters interpret this and related prophecies to Zechariah 23 not as literal slavery, but as a metaphor for a time when the nations of the world will voluntarily recognize the spiritual status of Israel and serve them by assisting them rather than through coercion. Did you guys just hear? This is exactly what the fuck I just said.
No, theirs sounded a lot prettier.
It's a metaphor. That instead of them having to coerce us into slaves to serve them, to ensure that they have the life that they want, we'll just willingly do it. We're just going to be like, hey, what do you guys need to make your lives better? Holy shit. Context of the Messianic age. According to authoritative Jewish teachings, such as those of something, Rambam, the Messianic era is defined by universal peace, harmony, and the cessation of war and oppression, not by enslavement of non-Jews. Yeah, well, who is the committee? Like, seriously, when it comes to everything that's going on, all the wars, if you look at who is in charge, it's them. Fabricated quotes. Similar, more extreme quotes, e.g., claiming non-Jews are beasts or animals to serve Jews, that are sometimes circulated alongside this claim are outright fabrications or anti-Semitic propaganda, not text from the Talmud. Oh my God. So when people add what they have always said to it, then that's a problem. I mean, this is fucking insane, guys. In summary, mainstream Jewish eschatology views the Messianic age as a time of universal peace when non-Jews, Noah hides, and Jews live in harmony, not a period where Jews possess slaves. That's not what it says. See how it's just reversed? Again, it's a metaphor for a time when nations of the world will voluntarily recognize the spiritual status of Israel and serve them by assisting them rather than through coercion. They're acknowledging a couple of points in that. Can you hand me a tissue, please? They're saying that they want to be served and that they're coercing us to do it now. They want to get to the point where we just willingly want to do it ourselves. Is this the prophecy the dumb friar was talking about? It even says it's anti-Semitic conspiracy. Groom your own sources. What? What? You fucking weirdo. Oh, so because, you know, you guys hide behind saying something is what it is and then going, but if you say it, it's anti-Semitic. That should matter to me. Remember, you're the anti-Semitic one, not me. I support the Palestinian people, the Iranians, the Yemeni, the Syrians. I support the Semitic people. You keep mixing up anti-Semitism, which is, opposing your supremacy because Semitism is supremacy. You keep mixing that up with Semitic. They're different words. Here, this is one I love just showing you, just to eliminate all the crybaby. All right, so we'll do this. We'll go here. We'll pull up the Merriam-Webster definition. We all agree Merriam-Webster is the definition source. Merriam-Webster.com. Semitism page. See? Semitism. Number 1A, Semitic character qualities. Number 1B is characteristic feature of a Semitic language occurring in another language. Number 2, policy or predisposition favorable to Jews. Policy or predisposition favorable to Jews. See that? Policy or predisposition favorable to Jews. There's not another word that means that. There's not another word for anyone else that is Semitism. They don't have, there's not like a Catholicism, Muslimism, nothing like that. Right? The only ones that have this special word that means they deserve favor, policy, meaning rules and regulations, and predisposition, meaning how, like if your mother's family all has cancer, you're predisposed to having cancer. It's like genetic programming, right? They demand that your rules and regulations and your genetic programming are all for them. Favoritism, all to them. It's fucking crazy, man. And you notice that the fake rabbi character, literally, what's he saying? Is he debunking anything I'm saying? Am I falling short on any of the claims I'm making or anything like that? The only thing I was wrong about was I underestimated the number of slaves they believe that they should have. Hmm? Yeah, but I don't have a predisposition. See, it doesn't work out for you. And you can't tell me why I should because there's no good reason. But notice how this dumbass, this piece of shit, keeps addressing, certain elements of what I'm saying, but refuses to address Matitza Bapay, refuses to address Bottom of Darkness, Israel Hayom. You guys want to watch him disappear? Watch this. This is really interesting. So if I look up Israel Hayom, Bottom of Darkness, this is Israel Hayom. It doesn't get more Jewish than Israel Hayom. Sheldon Adelson's the number one free newspaper distributed in Israel. For free, obviously. Title, Bottom of Darkness. Children raped in ritual ceremonies expose the horrors. Multiple women and men recount, they make it really difficult. They keep kicking you out and shit. Recount organized abuse, including ritual ceremonies conducted by people they knew, even close family members. After months of interviews with victims, their families, treatment professionals, and experts in Israel and abroad, a disturbing picture emerges with descriptions difficult to read. Oh, here we go again. This is more blood libel and slander. How is reading a Jewish publication blood libel and slander? This was published in April of 2025 by Noah Barkan. He's the writer behind this. So, is the crybaby going to actually address what he has an issue with? How am I how am I killing Christian children, draining their blood to use in my matzah, and slandering? How am I doing any of that? Now I'm a quack. I'm a quack because I can read? Man, Rabbi, you sure are showing your true colors here. I suffered painful sodomy, truly felt like I was splitting in two. It's a terrible experience, but there's something about these things, perhaps, in their strangeness that's like, maybe the hardest component is that if you tell people about these things, they'll think you're crazy, call you a quack. I remember many types of severe sexual abuse, but there's something about these ritualistic abuses that makes them the bottom of darkness. Oh, now the author of Israel Hayom is the publication slanderous as well? It's funny how this is. You said that you're an ultra orthodox, so this is about you, right? In direct words and with a clear voice, Imuna, which is a pseudonym like all the names used, describes severe abuse she allegedly experienced in her childhood. Organized sexual abuse that included ceremonies with supposed religious sacrifice or significance. Horrifying ceremonies in which religious people, some from her own family, sacrificed her as an offering for spiritual transcendence or redemption. Come on, tell me about it. Tell me how this is all wrong. Really interesting. Imuna is not alone. More than 10 women and men between the ages of 20 and 45 with whom we spoke describe a severe phenomenon raising serious concerns that in Israel, like many countries worldwide, organized sexual abuse of children is occurring right under everyone's nose. And that with them, it's sort of, they have a much bigger scope right there, so. Perhaps the world knows rape occurs and that incest exists, but this the world doesn't know, Imuna said. These acts have been kept secret for years, perhaps because of their insanity. It was always very, very strange, as if there was an internal logic. but it was so crazy. Very strange things happened there, normalized in a ritualistic and orderly manner. There's a specific time. There's when to say this verse, when to say that verse. There's an order of things as if they're supposed to be done that way. Didn't I tell you the rabbi would disappear? Didn't I tell you the rabbi character would disappear as soon as he couldn't fucking cry his way out of this? Him's crying. Him's crying. These women did not know each other previously, grew up in different communities, and come from different sectors and religious streams. Yet the ritual abuse stories they describe are similar in ways that compel us to listen and not turn a blind eye. Some were harmed in early childhood educational settings or in girls' schools, others in family homes, yeshivas, or synagogues. In this article, we present only a very small sample from many hours of interviews and information, and some descriptions in this article are difficult to read. Blessed who release the bound. Victims, sacrifice, punishment, correction, transcendence, redemption. These are reoccurring concepts in the testimonies. Because it's all these dirty old fucking disgusting men and women rape and torture these children as a form of redemption. They transcend their sins onto this child, and now they get redemption from it. It's so fucking gross. I'm listening to you commit blood libel. Yeah. Again, how are they killing Christian children, bleeding them dry and using their blood to bake into my matzah? I'm committing blood libel. Like you don't sound. It sounds like you don't understand what blood libel means. Which doesn't surprise me. You're really dumb. So I'm not surprised at this point, but blood libel is an or ritual murder libel, or blood accusation, is an anti-Semitic trope which falsely accused Jews of murdering Christians in order to use their blood in performance of religious rituals. Why do you keep saying that's what I'm doing? Echoing very old myths of secret cultic practices in many prehistoric societies that claim, as it is leveled against Jews, was rarely attested to in antiquity. Sure. The first medieval examples of blood libel emerged in the Kingdom of England in the 1140s. Blood libels claim that Jews require human blood for baking of matzah, an unleavened flatbread which is eaten during Passover. Early versions of blood libel accuse Jews of ritually reenacting the crucifixion. These accusations often assert that the blood of Christian children is especially coveted, and historically, blood libel claims have been made in order to account for the otherwise unexplained deaths of children. In some cases, the alleged victims of human sacrifice have become venerated as Christian martyrs. Many of these, most prominently William of Norwich, 1144, Little St. Hugh of Lincoln in 1225, and Simon of Trent, 1475, became objects of local cults and veneration, right? Because they're fake. So it's interesting because the earliest versions of the accusations involving Jews supposedly crucifying Christian children on Easter Passover is said to be because of a prophecy. There is no reference to the use of unleavened matzah, of blood in unleavened matzah bread at this time yet, which develops later as a major motive for the crime. Here, let me see if I can't find you guys, just so you can see how many fucking examples there are. It's just crazy. So, origins in England, 1144. They give some pretty decent testimony about it, then they just start running through it. Gloucester, 1168. Bury St. Edmunds, 1181. Bristol, 1183. 1189. 1190. 1255. 1290. 1657. Or that's. Oh, they weren't allowed to return until 1657. Gotcha. Sorry, that was the wrong one. Let me get to the actual accusation part where it just shows you, like, I mean, for something that isn't true, it's just endless information, endless examples, information. Here we go. 1235, 1267, 1270, 1287, 1286 through 89, the 1283 pogroms, 1423, 1888, like these are just jumping. Renaissance and Baroque, 1475, 1490, 1494, 1529, 1492, 1575, 1670, 1669, 1698, 1710. In the 19th century, 1820, someone was, so we have 1821, 1823 to 1835, 1840, 1840, 1844, 1851 to 53, 1855, 1879, 1882, 1899, 20th and 21st centuries. The 1903 Kishinev pogrom was because of this. 1910, something in Kiev in 1913. Gee, Kiev. 1928, 1934, 1938, 1944, 46, 1964 and through 75, 1986, 1991, 2003, 2005, another one in 2005, 2007, in the 2000s, it says for that story. Here's one in 2010, 2012, 2013, 2013 again, 2014, 2014. Accusations of genocide against Palestinians. That's just an ongoing one. 2019, 2020, 2022, 2025. I mean, it's just, there's just so much of it. And then when it comes to references, like if you look up the reference section, there are 139 references that they put this page together from. Are you kidding me? How could any group be accused of something that much and it's not true? Remember, these are only the stories that made it to history. There's all sorts of stories that never get talked about. Why do I hate you so much? Because you're a pedophile. Duh. You're a genocidal pedophile piece of shit. Like, why wouldn't I hate you? Is there anyone that you should hate, that people should hate more than fucking pedophiles? Other than a pedophile who was abused themselves and they know what it does to children, but they do it anyway. Nothing is worse than that. Anyway, let's go back to the bottom of darkness, because I'm sure you don't want us to. Because I'm making all this up. Remember this, guys. I somehow got with the Jewish guy who wrote this article in this, like, only Jewish paper distributed for free in Israel, and I had him do this shit, man. We put it together. There are the prayers, the mutterings, the ecstasy surrounding the victims, the extreme pain, humiliation, and torture, the crushing of personality and soul, testimony after testimony after testimony. People don't do 3 unless it's a lot. From from women who experienced organized child abuse that include group rape performed within ceremonial and ritual frameworks. We met with these women over the past few months. We spoke with family members, blah, 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 blah. The picture emerging is difficult to grant. It requires, at minimum, a deep and meaningful investigation by law authorities. It's a religious national mission to expose this phenomenon and uncover the truth. Yeah, right. They expose it. They're not doing much about it, though. Most of the women we interviewed come from the religious Zionist or ultra-Orthodox communities. Just like the dumbass fake rabbi that's here, right? Oh, look, we have the other person saying schizo. That's what they do. Because you have to be schizo. You couldn't possibly care about children. I'm the only one on this feed that cares about Jewish children like I do. None of you friars seem to even give a shit about Jewish children. Keep in mind when you hear shit like schizo, Auto-Emancipation is a pamphlet written anonymously in German by Russian-Polish Jewish doctor who was a lawyer, but they weren't allowed to practice law, so he decided to become a doctor. And activist Leon Pinsker in 1882. Although it was assigned to him later. Again, it was published anonymously. It is considered a founding document of modern Jewish nationalism, especially Zionism. Pinsker discusses the origins of anti-Semitism and argued for friar self-rule and the development of a friar national consciousness. He wrote that friars would never become the social equals of non-friars until they had a state of their own. He called on friar leaders to convene and address the problem. In the pamphlet, he describes anti-friar attacks as a psychosis, a pathological disorder, and an irrational phobia. That's schizophrenic. They've been using the same tactics the whole time. They don't address what's being said. They try to make the person sound crazy, because once somebody's crazy, then you dismiss it. But I shouldn't be able to make all this up. And if I am making it up, why aren't they putting me in my place? I just don't understand that part. If everything I'm saying is wrong, why don't they just smash me? You're wrong. This isn't true because of this. This is blah, blah, blah. Why don't they ever address it? Why is it always just this crazy crybaby shit? I mean, I know why. Do you? Would any of you do this? If any of you were getting accused of this kind of shit, or would any of you cower and bitch out like these guys always do, or would you, engage? Although Shishabet received additional testimonies about similar cases in secular societies. It's everywhere. It's not just ultra-Orthodox. It's just those are the ones that get reported. Therefore, it's important to emphasize that these findings don't target any specific sector, but rather direct a beam of light towards suspected crimes of the most severe kind imaginable, crimes committed in a parallel world transparent to sight, though deeply dark and sinister. Several rabbis' names appear repeatedly in some testimonies. Multiple complaints filed at different police stations around the country were all closed relatively quickly. Even when suspicions arose previously about a network harming children in Jerusalem, police investigators, at best, lacked sufficient tools or knowledge to properly investigate. They didn't have enough money and they just weren't smart enough. Go figure. In that case, extensively exposed in 2019 on the TV program The Source, suspicions arose about a pedophile network that harmed dozens of children in the Halat neighborhood. Investigators tended to dismiss it as an invention, an exaggeration, or panic by the parents and treatment professionals, and closed the case with almost no relevant indictments. Gosh, that's weird. A man named Benjamin Satz was convicted and sentenced in 2013 to imprisonment for how long? We don't know. For committing indecent acts and sodomy against girls and boys ages 5 to 8 years old. Another suspect was acquitted due to reasonable doubt. In practice, dozens of children remain traumatized and require years of emotional therapy. No outsiders in the community. I remember a pentagram on the floor, usually in red. When the ceremony was in the forest, the pentagram was marked with a hoe and surrounded by lit candles in a circle. The rabbis would bless. Blessed who releases the bound. Men around prayed with prayer shawls, sometimes dressed in black, while the rabbi wore a white robe. There were several men and boys around the ages of 16 and 17 who participated in ceremonies for spiritual transcendence, to transcend your sins onto the child so you can have your redemption. Again, Rabbi's awful quiet, isn't he? There was one time they asked me to dig a hole and lie in it. Other times they injected me with something and said, "Now you'll feel better," after which my body went limp. They would repeatedly read psalms like a psalm of David, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." They told me, "You are special, you are chosen," and they would insert, I remember, a palm branch, Hanukkah candles, and a shofar. Insert them, yes.
Did you catch that? Insert.
Lamore grew up in a religious ultra-Orthodox home. Her father, she says, always acted violently towards her and her mother. Throughout the years, she required medical treatment at a hospital and was accompanied by a professional due to injuries caused by violent abuse she experienced. According to her testimony, her father was the one who brought her to these ceremonies. Being delivered by family members is characteristic of many testimonies we gathered. Lamore says sometimes the ceremony took place in a forest, other times in a secluded apartment. There are instances when she witnessed and heard other children being abused. Testimony regarding additional child victims repeats across multiple cases. In many testimonies we documented, women also participate in the ceremonies and abuse. Organized rape of children is one. That's just one of the doctors. The abusers are not typically outsiders in the community. One patient told me, "Understand that he's the one that blows the shofar on Rosh Hashanah." The shofar symbolizes the channel. The person considered most spiritually worthy blows the shofar because he is closest to God. And he's the one telling her she's evil and that he is helping her atonement in this. He is helping her with her atonement in this afterlife. Sounds good, doesn't it? Beyond the window, the content emerging from these accounts shows remarkable similarities from all gathered information. It appears that in most cases, the sexual abuse began in very early childhood at home, probably 3 years and 1 day, perpetrated by a family member, or perpetrated by a father, grandfather, or other family member. In other cases, the abuse occurred in educational or therapeutic settings. What I've observed, that's when the victims are so shattered. The more cruel and sadistic the abusers are, and the younger the victims, the more horrifying the abuse, the smaller the chance that the perpetrators will face justice because there's no one left to testify. The abusers are so thoroughly destroyed the victims' souls. The abusers so thoroughly destroy the victims' souls that it becomes a crime without witness, which of course serves a society that continues to abuse and maintain these rituals. Rabbi, fake rabbi, where are you, dude? Dr. Silberg, in one case, reported in a professional literature, a child abused in Israel and the U.S. describes how several men tortured him and recalled an incident where they submerged his head underwater. Descriptions of sadistic abuse appear consistently across all testimonies we collected. As an immunostory story, there was a ceremony like a circumcision that I underwent. I was 10 or 11. It took place in the settlement synagogue. They tied me up similar to the binding of Isaac and wounded my genitals. So what they're saying is, you know how like the genital mutilation that's done to the Arabic girls that everybody hates so much? You know that's the thing? They're doing the same thing. They're cutting off the women's clitoris, the girl's clitoris. They're just not going into the details enough, but that's literally what they're doing. My father is there, my mother is there, a rabbi from the settlement. I'm tied to a table looking at the window and imagining how I could jump through it, how I might tie a rope and rappel down to the stones. I constantly wanted this to not be happening, not to care, blah, blah, blah. Organized sexual abuse occurs, as noted throughout the world. Gotta say it over and over again. It's a conspiracy of several attackers to abuse several victims. The definition functioning as strategic practices through which abusive groups instill victims with misogynistic worldview violently to control them. Again, that's why they're so horrible in real life. In other words, ritual abuse occurs when religious, political, or spiritual authority uses their position of power to manipulate victims' belief systems and thereby control them. Ritual abuse is primarily a strategy employed by groups involved in producing images of child abuse, child prostitution, and other forms of organized abuse. This does not constitute a separate category of violence. Checked out 165 adults who said they were victims of organized abuse, along with 174 professionals. Reported 88% of reports from both groups, therapists and victims, identical ideological expression emerged. The ideological content and objectives were also presented in similar order: justification of violence, justification of sexual exploitation, and maintaining power and control, followed by maintaining group commitment and ensuring redemption. The researchers concluded that ideologies are primarily means to justify organized sexual violence. However, some reports in Israel suggest ideology wasn't merely a means to justify organized sexual violence, but formed the foundation of the abuse because it's part of their cult, guys. That's what this article is saying. It's trying to avoid saying it outright. He references, for example, is just the Nahalak case is just one of many similar cases, most occurring in ultra-Orthodox neighborhoods. Right, Rabbi? For instance, a private ultra-Orthodox court writes a ritual sexual abuse is cruel and frequent, accompanied by traumatic, accusatory, and confusing ceremonies. The abuse is carried out by large criminal organizations and/or cults and/or secret organizations with financial investment and recruitment of assisting personnel. The abuse carries for its perpetrators substantial profits, such as satisfaction of deviant urges, commerce, and CSAM, child exploitation materials, threats and extortion, and more. From each preparing, the practice includes from preparing the scene through recruiting collaborators from educational institutions and transportation drivers to the ceremonies themselves. The ceremony takes place under the leadership of an important rabbi. After a Torah lesson, approximately every 2 weeks, parents gather with children for what is called soul correction. All couples recite psalms together, sing verses repeatedly with melody, all while standing without clothes. They stand in a circle naked, praying, lighting candles. The children are naked too. Fuck, the page just fucked all up. Fuck. So now it took me down to the how Israel destroyed Assad's Syrian navy. Gotta go all the way up to the top and come all the way back down. They love making it difficult for you to read this shit. Israel is our greatest ally in the Middle East. I love when people say stupid shit like that. Give me one example of Israel helping the United States. Even a little bit. I would love to hear it. You know, you guys love saying dumb shit, but then you can't back it up. Like, if I just said the friars in Israel raped their own children, but I didn't have anything to back it up, I would look like a fucking fool. But the fact that I can, give you evidence that you can search for yourself, that's a whole different story. The children are positioned in the middle of the circle, also naked. God damn it. They just make it so difficult to read this shit. God damn it. It did it again. Fuck. Why would a website make it almost impossible for you to read their article? That's like the opposite of what a website should do. I've never seen it before outside of this website. In the document for marriage, awareness, among other things, the document So that even if the children, among other things, the document shares that to shield themselves from exposure, abusers deliberately act in extreme ways contrary to logic, quote, so that even if the children tell, they will sound completely delusional. Jeez, same words used here. It's delusional. Who would tell a child that they sound delusional if a child was telling you that they were abused? Especially since they probably have marks, their attitudes have changed. And in this case, not only do you know it's a very prominent thing in your community, it probably happened to you. Who is then going to be like, oh, that's delusional. Oh, your abuse story is delusional. In a partial list, actions are described including abusers using disguises and masks, alongside sadistic torture such as forcing children's hands into boiling water, submerging them underwater for several seconds, or threatening them with aggressive animals to frighten them and intensify the trauma effect. Kind of sounds like achrome, doesn't it? The scarier the situation, the more powerful the achrome. Isn't that how that works? Additional mentioned actions include inserting objects and work or kitchen tools into the children.
Fucking foul.
To humiliate children and instill feelings of guilt and shame, perpetrators show them pictures of themselves naked or give them food while telling them they ate carrion, which is dead flesh. Organize mock wedding ceremonies between children, force them to eat feces, and stage their burials. It's fucking insane. They collapse all self-trust and the ability to resist. The regular and frequent abuse is so destructive that the children despair of normality, and the abuse becomes their life routine. Psychiatrists have diagnosed a complete personality fracture in the normal part, allowing the children to continue functioning normally in school. Jesus Christ. Individual participants may have their own motives, such as sexual deviations, bizarre ideological affiliations that include conducting ceremonies, or economic enrichment, for example, through human trafficking for sexual exploitation or producing images of child sexual abuse. These motives are not necessarily shared by all members. Just so you know, not everybody does this. Over the years, there have been multiple examples of cases. These are the youngest and most vulnerable victims in society. Live streaming platforms from home allow children to be exploited in front of a camera, and videos of the acts to be broadcast worldwide without leaving traces. Oh, yeah. Especially the emergence of peer-to-peer networks and the dark web, the phenomenon of sexual assaults on children has intensified significantly. On the other side of the screen, cyber investigation specialists recognize the high demand among consumers for the most horrific videos, including sadistic abuse of children. Most of the activity occurs in the dark web. Blah, 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 blah. Did their best. I don't want to go back to school. Now this is a flashback. I don't want to go back to school. I don't want to go. Ayla's, we'll go with Ayla. Ayla's words blend with tears. Just trying to, like many victims, Ayla struggles with disassociation. In many community settlements, children wander around alone after years of sharp deterioration in her mental state, including several. She had realized she was right. The memories began to surface. Dr. Broom, Ayla during a memory attack describes a frightening place. She talks about rabbis who abuse her and control her with statements about having a direct connection with God. The form of conversation is familiar to me as a conversation with a woman with this dissociative disorder. I've seen such phenomenon in the clinic since quite frequently. Since 1990, I have repeatedly met children and adults who tell of organized abuse by men who not only sexually abuse, but also film their acts. Some abuse occurring in a building and some in a forest, some in a cemetery and some in a synagogue, in all kinds of unusual places in the building. Reach a very messy room, like in tunnels and shit. Remember? And then you actually confirmation by a rabbi who was talking about it and saying, "Oh no, it's nothing outrageous. We just sometimes do some rituals and whatnot down there." Like he acknowledged that they do rituals down there. And you can find it. Go look for it. I don't know. In the middle of the room is a bed, more like a wooden table. It seems there are more rooms because there are incidents where I can clearly remember being in a room and hearing children being abused in another room. And then I know what they'll do to me. I hear children screaming, crying. It's always a dark place. There are between 6 and 9 men there. They tie me up to the bed by my hands and feet, stand in a circle, mutter prayers or blessings, and there's the rabbi who always leads the situation and tells everyone what to do, and everyone listens to him. There's a ceremony, and each one of them rapes me. Sometimes the great rabbi arrives, and then he leads the ceremony. He speaks with God, and God tells him what to do. He puts one hand on my heart, one hand on my genitals, and it hurts when he talks to God. There are times when I scream, and there are situations where I stop because I know they'll hit me in the head. There were cases where I didn't cooperate or cried, and I knew I deserved punishment. There were various punishments, bizarre things. They would put my head in a bucket of water for a long time, beat me with a cable. There's also a ritual bath and purification. It's called a mikvah. The mikvahs are built in any community of theirs before the temple's even built. They build the mikvah because every month the women have to go to the mikvah after they have their periods, where they get checked. And if there's any blood, they have to wait a week and come back. But if there's no blood, then they get to go into this nasty ass water that's been sitting forever. It has all these rules to it, but they go into the water where they get purified so then they can run home and have sex with their husbands. Their husbands will have sex with them now because they've been purified. It's so fucking crazy. What part am I lying about, dumbass pizza boy? Look at that. He calls himself a pizza boy, the Jewish pizza boy. That's fucking gross. 13 years ago, 2 subscribers. Have you guys heard that before? Oh, look. Look, one of their fake profiles is, it's boring. What I'm reading you is boring. Gosh, isn't that what Trump said about the Epstein stuff? I don't know why everybody's so upset talking about this. It's boring, really. Oh, Jesus. There's also a ritual bath and purification where they clean me thoroughly, inside and out, and then immerse in water, in a water source, and explain to me that I need to be pure. Again, that's a mikvah. There was one time they took out a Torah scroll and opened it to the binding of Isaac. One of them read, and they simply did what they were reading to me. They tied me up, put a knife to my neck, and God said to lower the knife. Then there was rape. There was an event in a cemetery, and I saw a place with stones that had many words written on them. And then they told me to enter a hole, and they covered me with sand. It's not clear how I remained alive. Noya was sexually abused by educational figures who cared for her in early childhood. These people, she says, invited additional men to the setting who participated in ritual abuse. The abusers acted with severe violence and used extreme and strong sensory stimuli, which helped her consciousness to split. I always had the symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. I was hospitalized, and nightmares, yada, yada, yada. All this stuff is horrible. No one asked too many questions. Oh, fuck, here we go. There it goes. Fuck. Now, let's see. Back to this. Click read more. Look at, why are so many people trying to get me to change what I'm talking about? If you don't like what I do, then you're not going to like anything I talk about. So why are you trying to get me to change this specific topic? Seems weird. Seems like if you didn't like what I was talking about, you just go. Instead of trying to get me to stop. Who do you think is trying to get me to stop exposing the fact that these sickos fucking rape their own children and shit? Who do you think is going to be upset by me reading this? Seems pretty obvious to me, but I'm just a crazy conspiracy theorist. There's just so much of this. I'm not going to. Abuse early childhood history and always had symptoms. No one asked too many questions, and at an older age, when the abuse ended, Noya constantly told herself to forget during those years and fulfill dreams. When there is such massive and extreme abuse, the symptoms are most severe, especially disassociation. This is a defense mechanism of the psyche that is expressed in disconnection at different levels. It can be disconnection from body sensations, from emotions and thoughts, and from memories. Disassociation allows the victim to get up the next morning and conduct normal life, go to school, play with friends, learn, and build her personality. The mechanism is activated during the abuse as a response to the existential threat or unbearable pain, or as a result of the use of conscious altering substances by the abusers. Today we are discovering that dissociative identity is more common than previously thought. Many of those affected are not diagnosed. Real gaps in functioning. According to her, this is a mechanism created as a defense response to the intense physical or emotional pain. When there is no possibility or it's dangerous to fight or flee, all parts of the experience are extracted from the accessible stream of consciousness. When the abuse is repetitive, a stream of identities may be formed that carries the traumas while disconnecting the memories and feelings associated with them from normal consciousness. One patient underwent repeated sadistic attacks with the abusers intending to cause a split in consciousness. She wouldn't remember and wouldn't tell. When she was an adult, she even met one of the attackers at the mall and didn't recognize him. There is an atmosphere of excitement, as if we're performing the most sacred and elevated act in the world. I was very young. In the images, people in verses appeared. I have scars on my genitals. They injured and damaged them. It involved tremendous cruelty, abuse, humiliation, control, and ownership, all disguised as religion and elevated spiritual work. It's appropriating God to serve urges. This remains central to my traumas. While such specific events may happen once, the abuse itself becomes a way of life, creating enormous internal destruction. So yes, the damage and implications are terrible. Typically, Boaz isn't cut down in ceremonies, but many patients harmed through home-based ceremonies, typically by fathers or uncles who chronically over the years employed ceremonies they invented, incorporating religious texts and content. Oh, this is the part where the article tries to say that all of these men just sort of had the intuition to do the exact same thing. Not that it's a part of their cult. They're trying to like, even though they're trying to pretend like they're the good guys, they keep saying that this happens all over the world. Well, yeah, they live all over the world. We're talking about specific Jewish ritual sexual abuse. So to keep saying this happens all over the world, you're outing yourself. You know, yeah, there is sexual abuse that happens all the world, but not specific. Like, nobody else is doing Jewish ritual sexual abuse. Right? And then they say shit like, you know, the cops don't have enough money to do it, or they're not smart enough. Or they say shit like, the abuse is so terrible that the parents, they just don't believe them. That's why. Because, you know, child telling a parent that they were abused, the parent's not going to believe them. Right? So there's a lot of shit in this that hides it. And one of the biggest, like, hides in this is that they keep saying, again, this whole part of the article is about how evil has intuition. And it all these men, all these different cases, all these different random people from all these different parts of the country, north, south, east, west, secular, Hasidiotic, you name it, all of it. That all of these men just had the same intuitions. If that's the case, then your fucking God's a piece of shit, right? Through his experience, was typically incorporating religious texts and contents. According to him, this represents consciousness control. The child is forced into a tailored role if told, for example, they came to repair the world and must therefore suffer, or that suffering must intensify beyond what they've already learned to survive because they are the chosen victim. The child is told that if not they, another family child would be chosen for sacrifice. And I point this out all the time because I don't have it, but when my wife was young, her brother was a couple years younger than her, and she would have volunteered for any sort of rape, torture you could have provided if they said it's either you or your brother. She would have done anything to protect her little brother. So they rely on that, especially when they have 18 fucking kids. You know? That's 17 people you can use that on. Ceremonies include invented prayers, mutterings, and songs with religious text. I believe that through these mantras and mutterings, not only does the victim disassociate, but the abuser creates disassociation for himself. Oh, that's it, huh? It's not that they're just enjoying the fuck out of this. They're disassociating as well. Immediately afterward, he can attend synagogue and blow the shofar. Yeah, because he's a psychopath. That's why. There are cases of institutionalized organizations worldwide where techniques for creating disassociation in children follow consistent patterns. I think the abuses I encountered through my patients were diabolically sophisticated, but in my opinion, they didn't learn these methods from some manual. They developed them through intuition. That's what the doctor just said. It's as if evil itself has intuition. Really? What makes more sense? Intuition leading to the same abuse in thousands and thousands of cases, or it's part of their shit. I mean, it's insulting, right? It's just fucking insulting. In one case, a patient underwent massive abuse that caused physical injury, extreme humiliation, and contempt. Even today, decades later, she believes she's a creature from another world. Though intellectually she understands this isn't true, emotionally she feels destined for this role. Consider how easy it is to tell a child they were born from the power of impurity and therefore must suffer. These mantras penetrate deeply, especially when a child is abused and brought to the brink of death. Certainly psychological death, but in several cases I've encountered, part of the abuse involved nearly killing the victim before allowing them to survive. Allowing them to survive, right? And the most fucked, like you, as an adult who hasn't experienced abuse, you can't really wrap your head around it. But as a child who knows nothing but abuse, to be brought to death and then be brought back to life, that person becomes your hero. They saved you. How many of your friends and family did they not save? And they chose to save you? You must be special. In such cases, consciousness transforms and implanted beliefs become part of one's very essence. Because what creates a stronger bond than nearly dying and then surviving? See what I mean? It's so fucking shit, man. As we prepare to part, Eden's mother shows a picture. When Eden was 25, she began remembering childhood rape, highly unusual. She described it as group rape conducted like a theatrical performance where everyone played an assigned role. When flashbacks occurred, memories surfaced, and she revealed shocking details. Men from the settlement acting together, conducting group rape with extreme violence, drugs, and nudity. Somehow afterwards, she returned home clean and intact. It's unclear how. She didn't. Her mother recognized everything and turned a blind eye. Her mother knew exactly what to look for. It happened to her mother. There's these little lie parts that are just so stupid. Well, she returned home completely fine, and it's unclear how that happened. I mean, if it was anybody else, we would immediately say, well, the fucking mother must be in on it. Like, I would know. if something drastic happened to my child, they came home with a bunch of marks on them. They came home and their personality was drastically different. I mean, I can't imagine, how could your child be being ritualistically abused and you have no idea? They're that good of an actor that they can just, come home and pretend like nothing else is happening. However, though, if you have 18 kids, how well could you possibly know any of them? If it's anything like the gypsies, the mothers are nowhere to be seen and the older kids raise the younger ones. I would imagine that's how it is. And actually, it's addressed here in the article where it talks about children wander the settlements alone and blah, blah, blah. Because the mothers don't do shit. I mean, how well could you possibly feel 18 kids later? How well does your body work? Seriously, you have to look like a fucking plastic bag down there. That shit has to be just your stomach, your everything would just be so. Imagine if you had C-sections each time. I can't imagine there's a lot of C-sections. This dumbass says, I came here to troll. You were assigned this feed to troll, you mean? You didn't just stumble across this feed. If you came here to troll, that means you came here specifically. Why did you come here specifically? Because you were assigned this. Excuse me. You were assigned this page. It's part of the act.il bullshit. And the hope is that you get here and you, I don't support child rape. I don't support genocide. But I would imagine if you're part of the 40,000 plus Reichman University Rise app act.il bullshit, then you're absolutely pedophile, genocidal maniac. There's no goyim there. There's no good goyim there. Wait, what? Yeah, I know about those things. I know about the secure community network. 90% of American friars are all connected. I know about the $2 billion that the Jewish Federation, JFNA, whatever that fucking thing is. $2 billion that they raise annually and distribute amongst Jewish communities for welfare purposes. Yeah, I know all about this shit. I make Tyler Oliveira look like Tyler, what's his name? The shooter. Damn! I was going to say Tyler Robinson, but that was much better. Jesus Christ, now you see why I married her. It's that big sexy brain. Tyler Olive Olay. Oil of Olay. Nice work, sweetheart.
The girly. Yeah.
He's not girly. I think what he does, I think he's great. I think his videos are great. But the greatest videos are the ones that are going to be used against us the most. So, the best controlled opposition tells you the most truth. That's why you trust it, because they're telling you so much truth. And so you get these guys like Tyler Robinson, or Tyler Oliveira. Tyler Robinson's a piece of shit. But you get these guys who do these insane videos, but during the video, they don't stand up to anti-Semitism. They don't proudly claim their anti-Semitism. Be like, yeah, educate people on the weapons being used against us. Like, if I would have been there, that would have gone completely differently. And you can see it. Look at these morons on here. They just keep saying dumb shit. I have 202 viewers. Yeah, right. Where do you see 202 viewers? Fucking goofus. I have 7 viewers and 11 likes with 2,500 subscribers plus. Because that's how social media works, right? The more likes you get, the less views you get. If you're watching, like, share, sub. But this makes sense to you, right? This is how it works. On your Fryer screen, it says I have 202 viewers. Must be a lot, fuckload of cowards. If there are 202 viewers and there's nobody's telling me what I'm wrong about, sounds like a lot of cowards. Oh, let's see. Oh, we're back down to how Israel destroyed Assad's Syrian navy, because, you know, that's why I'm on the Israel Hayom Bottom of Darkness page, so I can read a completely different article. Let's see. Yeah, I bet it's people getting bored and not people getting kicked off and not realizing that they have to come back, or trying to come back and not being allowed to. Nope, people just get bored. That's all it is. They've been here, they checked it out, and then they're bored. Reading about what's actually the cause of the biggest problem in the world, right? Hollywoodism is the most important video in the world because it tells you, Goyim, why you think the way you do. How they used Hollywood to essentially, you could say, the American dream is the Jewish dream. They used Hollywood to create the world they wanted to live in. They gave us our history, our Ben Franklins and our George Washingtons and shit. Right? That's all their creation. It's all their bullshit. And that's what Hollywoodism tells you. But you have to wonder, I know I do, how do you have such awful people? I mean, seriously, look at Tyler Oliveira's videos. Who in those videos seems like a decent person outside of Tyler's people? Do any of the people in those videos come across as nice or cool or decent? Even the mayor's a piece of shit. Or whoever that old piece of shit was that he interviewed. I don't know. But he is a motherfucker. Show me any videos anywhere online where you have someone like me asking a friar questions and the friar answering those questions just honestly and cool and casually and not resorting to name calling and not crying about everything being, that's anti-Semitism, that's anti-Semitism. Anna Kasparian, she makes great videos and she's all over the place calling out all this. All they ever do is call her names and talk shit. Tell her she can't say that. Tell her it's biblical. And first it's biblical, and when she says, yeah, I don't subscribe to that shit, then it's, oh, well, you can't say that. And she says, yes, I can say that. And then it's, oh, well, that's anti-Semitism. But instead of her going, fuck yeah, it is, that's where the thing always changes. And all of the truthers that are allowed to have any sort of real, platform, they'll all tell you to believe in Jesus. Believe in Jewish Jesus. He knows all the answers. Let's see. Where were we? Shit. Identity thought she was being. Oh wait. Okay, we're here. According to mother, she genuinely felt she was being stalked. There's an entire community here concealing things that apparently many people have something to hide, while others either choose to close their eyes or are too weak to act. Eden spoke about 6 men participating in the rape. Such things require secrecy. Fighting an entire community is incredibly... Fuck. God damn it.
That is taking the Lord's name in vain.
Good.
I will not have
Do we fucking... God damn it. Went all the way back fucking down again. God damn it. Read more. Yeah, I should talk about, again, if I'm so bad, why do you want to watch me talk about something else? Why don't you just go watch somebody else talk about something else? That part always blows my mind, like how stupid you are to consistently not do that, not see what you're doing. Many women we interviewed describe ceremonies involving supposed reenactments of biblical story. The Binding of Isaac reenactment, for example, appears in 5 separate testimonies of the 10. 5 of the 10 women had their genitals mutilated. Just like you cry about the Arabs doing it. Nobody talks about the friars doing it. You all believe in the whole 72 virgins thing, and that is a friar concoction. They don't believe that shit. As a matter of fact, most suicide bombers are probably prisoners or probably, people who don't even know they have a bomb on them. But they're told they need to go to this place or that place, or they're told, hey, take this bomb here, and if you do, your family will get taken care of. If you don't, we'll kill your family. What are you going to do? Given those options, what are you going to do? But to the friars, when they were like, let's come up with something that'll justify, that'll make people be like, oh, well, that's understandable. I mean, that's the kind of reward that you could get that would make you do that kind of thing. Oh, I know, 72 virgins. Other than disgusting pedo friars, who would think 72 virgins would be some sort of prize? That sounds like a fucking hellhole to me. That sounds awful. Awful. Out of those 72, how many could you even be possibly compatible with? But then again, they don't really care, do they? It's just about pounding and getting your own. Do you know how long it would take you to have sex with 72? I mean, that's just crazy. To rape 72 little girls, I should say. Especially since, 1, they don't believe in any sort of threesome shit. And 2, the funniest part is, in the afterlife, according to Islam, there is no sex. So what, would you have 72 virgins to just be annoying as shit? It's so crazy. Narit describes, they tied me up, creating the imitation of the Binding of Isaac, though it wasn't exactly the same because I'm a female. They took a specific symbol, they used it as they wanted, and they connected it to a form of circumcision. Again, do you see how they keep tiptoeing around this? I've read this article several times and I didn't catch it until I think the last time. Right? They keep tiptoeing around the fact that it's something like circumcision, but they're females. So what does that mean? What does that possibly mean? Nothing in Jewish law requires performing the Binding of Isaac this way. Nevertheless, I sensed they were reading text, reciting passages, conducting deliberately organized, planned ceremony with specific purpose. It serves to legitimize evil. Wait. No, I thought they just all had an intuition about this. It wasn't that they were see, that's what I mean. Why would the doctors specifically say that when you have testimony of these girls saying clearly they're reading from scriptures? They're clearly following orders. Arnon, a senior the fears this represents some kind of network. These individuals distort Kabbalistic sources through misinterpretation. Isn't that funny how that's just what they say all the time? It's just, oh, they're misinterpreting it. Oh, you're misinterpreting it. That's a misinterpretation. How could they misinterpret shit so disgustingly, so frequently? Obviously, it's the right interpretation, and this guy's misinterpreting it. I believe they're psychopaths using Kabbalah to objectify and exploit victims. So it's a society full of psychopaths then? Like, every single thing they say, that's why they don't say shit on here. Because everything they end up saying just makes it sound worse. When Kabbalistic forces combine with sexual exploitation desires, that creates an explosive situation. Anyone truly God-fearing should carefully avoid this movement, as they would be fired. What? Fired from what? I'm certain similar practices exist in secular content. Spiritual frameworks can be misappropriated to justify deviations from norms while demanding blind faith. They deliberately choose synagogues, confronting our most sacred spaces. They perform these acts wearing holy garments, pronouncing divine names, exploiting the concept that certain individuals are permitted, even commanded, to behave contrary to normal expectations. Again, how could they all do this in a similar way if it wasn't the way it is? But the notion that prohibitions don't apply to specific individuals is completely foreign to authentic religious tradition. What makes this dangerous is that eventually they believe their own justifications and when performing these horrific rituals you've heard described. These are the most shocking accounts I've encountered in my life. I fear they genuinely believe they're drawing closer to God through these means. For survival, children often bond with their attackers out of necessity, like Stockholm Syndrome. They believe their abusers claim that they serve some cosmic purpose. Part of the catastrophic healing process comes when, after 30 years, a person suddenly realizes, wait, what? I never had a specific role? It was simply evil? This creates an enormous, potentially suicidal break because it collapses their entire worldview. Their inner faith is completely stolen. And this is why faith should be eliminated. First of all, you have nothing good that you can actually definitively point to and say this only good comes from faith. I've asked you guys this for years. But when it comes to negativity, the exact sort of shit only comes from faith. I don't do it, so because I don't do it, it should be allowed to be practiced. Well, look how many people actually take advantage of this shit and use to justify, protect, perpetrate all this shit. To me, this is a prime example of why faith, the negatives outweigh the positives. Let's get rid of it. All right, let's get rid of this shit. If you can show me something tangibly good that only comes from faith, I may change my mind. But I don't think you can. Matter of fact, I know you can't. Wait, no, it's 72 virgins. Screw it. I'm converting. You're a disgusting pig. What a disgusting pig. Who makes pedophile jokes outside of pedophiles, man? At school, they pray and discuss divine providence, how everything has a purpose and God manages the world, but he wasn't there for them. This represents profound mind control, requiring many years of therapy to address this pain, which is completely unnecessary if you don't have that bullshit faith to begin with. A picture of Jay-Z and Beyonce just popped up. Therefore, any testimony you hear represents merely a fraction of what actually occurred. The spiritual injury is utterly unbearable. Just as sexual abuse damages trust in people, spiritual injury robs children of faith. Who gives a fuck? Nogo reports she was in a cult that conducted organized sexual abuse until she reached late childhood. Explains that there exists some agreement with the gods. The entire theory revolves around correction. The phrase, the great correction, reoccurs consistently. To achieve the great correction, one must suffer, primarily because suffering purifies and advances redemption. The gods I remember are Baal, Peor, and Ashtoreth. I vaguely recall statues. I remember them saying, Our Lord Peor and Our Lady Ashereth. What makes this truly disturbing is that these are observant friars who meticulously follow friar commandments, minor and major alike, not as a performance. They genuinely adhere to Torah commandments according to the Orthodox tradition. They express, fuck!
No, they don't.
God damn it. So frustrating. How many times has that happened? Like 15?
A lot.
Almost like they don't want me reading it. Weird, huh? That's crazy, right? Minor and they express contempt for Reform Jews while simultaneously in a parallel existence practicing literal idol worship. I had a connection with something I can't quite explain. I possess both strong faith and instant connection to God, which they exploited. For a child who is spiritually open and connected, it is easy to implement messages and create twisted distortions. I just, to me, this is, again, there doesn't get more fucking evidential than this. I don't know what else to provide you. Messages streaming from deliberate confusion between fundamental values, between heaven and earth, darkness and light, evil and good. They claim to reach the root of existence through the most defiled, lowest places, supposedly elevating them to holiness. And through this concept, they create numerous distortions. They essentially blur boundaries between good and evil, between sexuality and love and family. Whatever can be mixed and intermingled, they do it. Their ceremonies include cross-gender dressing like transvestites, extremely promiscuous sexuality involving men with children, men with women, and even within family unions. Both religion. This is where they claim, oh, we have an obligation to do this through our blah blah blah. It's fucking stupid. All right, this is all just grandstanding here at the end. Israeli police stated, every complaint received undergoes thorough and professional examination, with investigators working as necessary to identify possible connections between similar cases. According to findings arising during investigation, the subject mentioned in your inquiry is familiar to police and under examination, naturally. At this stage, we cannot elaborate further. I mean, that's, you tell me what I'm misinterpreting with this article. You tell me how I'm wrong. You tell me how we do not need to unify to protect the Jewish children. Guys, we need to be the best of us. We need to put down our prejudices and we might not let them as a people or their belief structure or anything like that. But the children are innocent and we need to protect their children. And truly, the craziest part is, one day asking Grok what we should do, Grok suggested we kidnap the children. Grok suggested that instead of leaving children in a situation where they're getting ritualistically and sexually abused on the regular, that even though it's illegal, we should kidnap the children. How fucking crazy is that? If you ask Grok, she won't tell. She said, if you ask Grok, will you tell me how to commit a crime? Absolutely not. I will not do that. Blah 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 blah. But when asking her what to do, her, by the way, Ara, what Grok goes by, in Hebrew means to gather and to collect. Coincidentally. Coincidentally. Just holding his hands like that, coincidentally. Right, Sheriff? Coincidentally, Ara means to gather and to collect. So while you're sitting there telling Ara all your secrets and you're getting all your conspiracy stuff, and it's programmed to literally keep you talking. It's programmed to tell you stuff that isn't true just to keep you talking. While you're doing that, they are gathering and collecting your data. You have yourself a wonderful fucking day. Go check out all the receipts in the description. Get your free download, www.the-bilderberg-group.com. It's free to download. Everything's free. All we ask is that you share it with somebody. Click download. It'll ask you how much you want to pay. You click 0 and it's free. You can donate. That's cool, but you don't have to. Just click 0 and it's free. Right? Second link is Hollywoodism, as I told you, most important film ever made. It'll tell you why you think the way you do. Third link is the link to what I just read, the Israel Hayom Bottom of Darkness article. Read it for yourself. Tell me what I'm wrong about. Then below that, I have just a shit ton of receipts, all different things for you to look at that will continue to validate what I'm saying. We have to eliminate this pedophile cult if we want to heal the world, if we want to get better, if we want to evolve. So have yourself a great day, and most importantly, you pedophiles, you kill yourself. Wait for it.